5, 4, 3, 2. Welcome to Speaking Cinema, Serious Movie Jibber Jabber, a movie podcast coming to you from Hollywood, California, adjacent to the Pacific Ocean. I'm your host, Mr. Jibber Jabber. With me today is my identical enemy, Kevin, who I cannot see but communicate with via alphanumeric designations. Hello, Kev. B7.
Miss.
Fuck.
Yeah.
So this is the end of Season 2. Season 1, as you recall, is episodes 1 through 8, Starry Eyes the Stuntman. We voted on those movies. Democracy in action, utilizing the power of voting to create a podcast. Season 2, we changed the rules to a rotating dictatorship where we each picked movies, forcing each other's to watch something against each other's will.
We had a coup.
Yeah, it was quite the...
quite hostile.
It's a benevolent coup.
All right. I want it to be hostile.
All right. Well, in some ways it was, but we don't have to deep dive.
Yeah.
So this episode marks the end of Season 2, and but we've explored some new territory. We're going to get into Season 3, which is going to be a bunch of Halloween picks coming up. But in the spirit of continuing to explore new territory in the scientific field of movie Jibber Jabber, today we have not one, but two special guests. Hello, Emily.
Hi.
Jenny.
Hi.
We're introduced as Lady Energy by introducing you guys, as one would do.
As ladies.
So, lady number one, Jenny.
What's
Let's
up?
start with you. So you guys are my guests, right? You know, Kev. He'll bring on his own guest later.
I live in the closet. I just kind of come out every now and then.
Yeah. So, Jenny, we'll start with. So, how long have we known each other? Would you say?
2 years? Are we going on 2 years?
We're going on 2 years.
Oh my god.
And what would you say our relationship is, if you were to classify it in some sort of way?
Friendship? Like how? Like working relationship? How do I know you?
I would consider us to be friends.
Okay.
But you are also my direct
frenemies, and sometimes when I boss you around.
Yeah, in the spirit of frenemies and in the spirit of bossing me around, you are my direct supervisor.
Correct.
So the red pen will be out today, guys. The red pen will be out. Em,
Yeah.
how long would we say we've known each other? 11 years?
11 years.
And what would be our relationship?
I date you.
Oh, so you're... Oh, we do, huh?
Oh, wow.
So we could call you Mrs. Jibber Jabber,
I suppose, yeah.
but it's too late because we already called you Emily.
Yes.
So the red pen will be out today, too, for you.
Always is.
All right, so...
Or a blanket for the couch. We won't be in the bedroom.
Yeah. We're gonna record on this thing, and then I'm gonna go straight to bed.
You can come to my closet if you want.
So, in celebration of our guests, it is my pleasure to announce that this time on the Jibber Jabber, the battle for Earth begins at sea. 2012's motherfucking Battleship.
Oh boy.
Yay!
Very excited to do Battleship. Battleship was when we came up with the concept for this podcast. That was like, dude, the first episode has to be Battleship. We had to wait 14 episodes to get there, but well worth the wait.
We've made it.
Written by John and Eric Hober, directed by Peter Berg, starring Taylor Kish, Liam Neeson, Alexander Skarsgård, Rihanna, and Brooklyn Decker. Made by Universal, collaboration with Hasbro. Get excited, guys.
Oh,
I'm
I'm
excited.
Get excited.
Hasbro makes board games, but we're getting into the movie game.
Well, we'll get there. But if you're not familiar, with this movie, goddamn shame on you. Based on the classic Hasbro Navy combat game, a fleet of ships is forced to do battle with an armada of unknown origin in order to discover and thwart their destructive goals. I don't entirely agree with this synopsis. Took it verbatim from IMDb.
All right.
We'll get into it.
We'll get into that.
So this is a movie made by Hasbro Studios and Universal Studios. Quite the devil's combination. Well, I think we all look at Hasbro as a maker of bizarre moving image entertainment, i.e. their collaboration with Paramount on G.I. Joe and the Transformers. You know, a lot of what I think a lot of people would freely call Bobo movies.
Very freely.
Yes.
Bobo.
G.I. Joe especially.
Quite Bobo.
But wait.
But fun.
Uh-oh.
Transformers is fun.
More than G.I. Joe.
Yeah.
I would argue that I have seen every Transformers movie in the theater opening weekend, and shame on me.
But the first one was good.
I will go to bat. The first one is an enjoyable movie.
I gave up after the first one.
Did
I was
you?
like, oh, I hated this.
I gave
hated
the
it
second
so
one a
much.
chance, and then after that, no
And
way.
Where the truck
me and
had
this-
balls.
And me and this girl kept going.
Well,
Just kept on going.
The fourth one had Dinobots.
Yeah,
so
well,
I had to go watch it.
Tricked us with those Dinobots.
Michael Bay needs a pool in his third house.
Me and Emily literally had a conversation where we watched the trailer and I'm like, yeah, that looked dumb, right? and she just looks at the screen, and she's like, "They're dinosaurs." And I'm like, "Yeah." And she's like, "But what's the point of, like, what's the advantage of being a dinosaur?" And I'm like, "What do you mean?" It's like, "Well, when you're like a car, you can go real fast on flat surface, and when you're a man robot, you can, like, you know, go up a mountain or whatever. What's the benefit to being a dinosaur?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I don't think there is any." And she's like, I think I want to see this movie.
Better go see and find out.
What is the purpose? Like, do
Nothing,
they don't
just
eat,
fucking
do they eat like cars? Like,
No, dinosaurs are awesome. That's it.
Huh.
But we had to wait 3/4 the way through the
Oh,
movie to
yeah.
get to the dino.
And was it already like 3 hours long? Or something?
Yeah. So around hour 3, it's like, here's some dinosaurs. And it's like, okay. And then they just stomp through China.
And it was all the footage that was in the trailer. That's all
Yeah,
that you
no,
saw.
yeah.
Right at the end.
Back to Hasbro. They are a successful film and TV company. I don't think people give them credit for that. They make a variety of TV shows for their own Discovery TV network, which used to be called The Hub. And all their shows are like the tie-ins to their toys. So you got like a My Little Pony show, you got a Littlest Pet Shop, you got G.I. Joe's, Transformers, and many, many more. So they're not some company that's just making a bunch of flops in the entertainment game. They actually have success.
That's good. Yeah, I didn't know that they owned the Hub. I didn't know that.
Incognito.
Oh, there you go.
Hasbro and Universal signed an agreement in February 2008 to derive and produce 4 films from 7 Hasbro properties. They included, get ready for this, Battleship, Candyland, Magic the Gathering, Monopoly, Ouija, and Stretch Armstrong. Battleship,
Yep.
Candyland, Magic the Gathering, Monopoly, Ouija, Stretch Armstrong.
I want a Stretch Armstrong film.
It's funny you should say that, because Stretch Armstrong has been in development hell for 20 years.
I want it, and I want a Candyland movie.
And they have been attracting talent. You know who was attached to direct that Monopoly movie?
Speak on John Favreau?
Ridley Scott.
What?
At one point.
Oh my god.
Do that.
We're gonna get into it in a minute, but like, no, fuck it. Let's see, do it now. What would be your take on a Monopoly movie? What would it be? Would it be Wall Street, but just called Monopoly? Or would aliens invade and then they have to fucking win a board game or some shit?
It's like the story of a hotel magnate who has to fuck everybody over to get the way he wants, which is the only way to win Monopoly.
I would watch an R-rated Monopoly where it's basically the Wolf of Wall Street, but about
a hotel guy.
a hotel magnate. Where he's,
But then would it be fun, or would it be like this crazy drama? Like, how
Right.
would you tie it in?
I would make it like Casino, where it's a crazy drama, but like there's funny moments or something. You know what I mean? That's
or
my pitch.
where
Call me Hollywood.
when they're in their excess, it seems funny and fun, but then when that's all gone,
But then they take a
it's
baseball bat.
crushing.
Go
Like
straight to
we
jail.
fucked all these people over
Yeah.
to get where we are,
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Then he slaps a woman and it's like not funny anymore.
Yep.
M?
So did they make the Ouija movie, the horror movie?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes,
they
they
did.
did. I remember that.
Okay.
So
I believe there's a Ouija 2 in development.
there is.
Wow.
We'll get to that in a minute.
Wow.
So the terms of the deal is Hasbro had to pay for all development costs for the films, and Universal was supposed to pay $5 million per property not made into a movie. Eventually, only Ouija and Battleship were continued. The rest were paid out and were shopped to other companies. Spoiler for later, but you may be getting that Candyland movie.
Yes.
2018.
I'll be ready for it.
Have you heard of Battleship, and what is your perception with it? We're gonna start with Kev.
Did hear of Battleship.
Saw the trailer.
Saw the trailer. My first thought was why. And then I did not see it, so my expectations are open at this point.
Oh, you haven't seen it
I
at
have not
all.
seen Battleship.
This podcast, we figured out this podcast works the best when at least one person hasn't seen the movie and one person has. So
Yeah.
we 3 have, not to bury the lead. Jenny?
It's been a while, but I do remember seeing the trailer when it first was going to come out, and I remember thinking, ugh, I don't get it. Like, I don't get it. I just was not interested in it, but at the same time, I really wanted to see it. But I was strong, and I didn't see it in the theater, and I waited for it on demand, and I'm so glad that I did.
Baby? I can speak that we saw the trailer at the same time, probably in front of a Transformers movie.
Probably.
And I was like, this looks like dog shit.
Well, and
I was very upset when I saw that trailer.
Well, and I saw it and I got confused because I understood the Battleship concept, but then that there were aliens, and I'm like, wait, there's aliens in it?
Yes.
Why are there aliens?
Yes.
And so we waited, and we
And
got it
you
from
wanted to see it in the theater, and I was like, fuck no.
I did want to see it, but everybody ragged on it so bad
Yeah.
that we didn't get to. So I got it from Netflix on the disc, so I didn't even wait for it to go on demand.
Oh, wow.
I wanted to watch it, and I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. And then I catch it at the gym, and
then you proceed to watch it 50 times over the course of 3 months.
I've
Yeah.
watched it a lot
Yes.
in all of its different parts, and I get really excited when I can see the beginning, because the beginning is my favorite.
So I remember when the news of this broke on Slash Film and Deadline and shit, and I was like, with everyone in the comment thread, not that I don't write comments, but looking at it, it was just like, it was an unsavory announcement. Then, shout out to screenwriter John August with his podcast Script Notes, who said hey, if they make Hunt for Red October and just call it Battleship, that's cool, right? And I was like, oh yeah, that's a good point. Then I saw that trailer, and they didn't do that. They fucking involved the aliens, and it had the Transformer noises in it, and I was unbelievably pissed off. A lot of negativity, I feel like, surrounding the theatrical run of Battleship.
The moment that killed me in that trailer is when the aliens throw their little bombs on the ship, and they're in the shape of the pegs from the game, and I was like, no.
I've seen this movie literally 6 or 7 times. I never connected that until
I've never
just this very
either.
second.
Did I just blow all your minds?
Yes.
Yeah, you did. I want to go and look at the game again.
We're gonna have to cut this short.
Oh boy.
Oh my
So yeah,
god.
but there was a moment in the trailer where it shows the little bomb sticking, and it looks just like the pegs that you put in the Battleship, and I was like, no.
Wow, I
My-
did not notice.
I want to cry right now.
That's kind of cool though that they did that.
I obviously did not play Battleship enough to know what the pegs looked like to be able to identify them.
No, I actually don't have that question written down, but did you guys grow up playing Battleship?
Sure
No?
did.
I mean, I played it a couple of times.
Definitely. My brother and I played it nonstop.
I think I fake played it. Like, we had the game, but I never really knew how to play it, so it was just like, we're just gonna set them up really nice and spell words out with the pegs under a little water area, but
Boobs.
never actually kill each other's and blow each other's ships up. That never happened.
I did play Battleship. It was one of those games that people would easily cheat at, so it was not my
That's why
favorite game.
you had to get the electronic Battleship.
Right.
Can't hide in that one. So.
It was very much a secondary game compared to Connect 4 or poker or any other board game that was
Yeah.
of the simple variety. You know what I mean? Preferable over a Monopoly or a Clue.
Yeah. That Clue was big at my house.
Clue, huh?
Was it?
So my mom read mystery books, so she was all
So
she
she
was too good at Clue. Had to take her out sometime.
Everyone versus mom.
Clue, Life, and Battleship were the 3 rotating at my house the most often.
I wonder
So-
how modern day Battleship game looks like, because you know how they always revamp
They
them.
they did make Battleship the movie, the game with an alien army.
Oh god.
Yeah, buddy.
There's a Star Wars one coming out
Oh,
for Force Awakens. So,
you sunk my Super Star Destroyer.
I guess so. The Super Star Destroyer at Black Bar. Thank you.
Spot on. I think this is an interesting movie, as it's one of these summer blockbuster movies that are perceived to be a critical and commercial failure
It was.
and are summarily dismissed. But the question remains, is it terrible? Because if you haven't seen it, how do you know? You know what I mean? Is the hype bad or is the movie bad?
It's true. I mean, as someone who has not seen the movie, I heard nothing but bad things. And yeah, the concept of so there's a board game, but it's a movie now. I was like, no. So,
But there's that Clue movie,
there is that Clue movie,
which
that's-
is a Comedy Central
has-
staple.
has held up over time with fine performances from everybody in it. So
Starting with blockbusters, though, you guys, are we? What do we think about summer blockbusters in this group?
I mean,
Are you guys summer blockbuster guys, or are you wait for the art house?
I go see the summer blockbusters
Yeah, you
and the
gotta
art
see 'em.
house movies. So.
You gotta see them.
So see him.
And I was interested in this when they said Peter Berg was going to direct it, because I'm familiar with his work, and I think he's a solid filmmaker. So He did Friday Night Lights, the movie. I believe he produced the TV show. He did The Rundown with The Rock. That's
Which is an underrated movie.
it's a fun adventure movie. So I was like, maybe Peter Berg's got something.
Shout out Dwayne.
And then I saw those pegs, and I was like, no. So,
Em, do you like blockbuster movies?
I do. They're fun.
Yeah.
I like big scale.
Yeah, and I do. I think, I'm with everyone here. I think there's no, we're no blockbuster haters in this group. You know, I like my comic book movies. I like my fucking, big Godzilla attacks. Fucking the whole city falls over.
and I go to Cinefamily, and I watch those Roy Anderson movies, those Swedish, one take things.
So
That's
we're-
what people go.
Yeah,
So,
all over the place.
but yeah, I'm at the multiplex like everybody else watching those big movies. So
So I think blockbusters are split into two categories. There's what people consider to be like normal blockbusters. In this day and age, that would be like superhero movies. And then there's bobo blockbusters, right? Which what people are like, Hollywood sucks. They think that everyone's stupid. You know, this is an insult to me and all of culture. And examples of that would be like Pixels, The Lone Ranger, John Carter, Cowboys vs. Aliens, movies that people really responded negatively to, right?
And they're kind of marketed as blockbusters. Like, they kind of market it as like, this is a big hit before anybody's even seen it.
Right.
The kind of thing.
And Battleship definitely falls into that category.
Yes.
Most definitely.
At there's like a cinema convention in Las Vegas where all the studios make a presentation, all the theater owners, and when they tried out Battleship, they were like, you know, you're welcome. And then the next year they're like, we are so sorry.
Nice.
So
And they swallowed their pride a little bit.
yeah, so
That's-
yeah, it was supposed to be a big hit. They didn't understand, you know, they didn't understand.
Yep.
But the bigger question remains is that why are adaptations of odd properties intrinsically conceived to be a bad idea? Like, we hate the idea of like a TV to a movie adaptation, like the Dukes of Hazzard or Starsky and Hutch. But then on the other hand, there's the A-Team and 21 Jump Street, which are those but done well, right? But then if you want to make the Lord of the Rings into a movie or the Golden Compass or whatever, everyone thinks that you're doing that's a good idea.
Yeah.
So why is a movie intrinsically lend itself to being adapted from a novel, but if you want to adaptate from a board game, that's fucking lame? Why is that?
I think because they trot out that old narrative of Hollywood's out of ideas. You know, it's like, oh, we're making movies about board games now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness, we're making movies. But if you can take Candyland and make a good script out of Candyland, by all means, make that Candyland movie. You
Right.
know, like, I don't care where it came from, just make something worthwhile out of it. So,
Yeah.
Well, and I think it comes down to literacy, because people a lot of times...
Literacy, you say?
No, but seriously though, because people are more they're more familiar with TV and board games than they are with books. So it's only the big blockbuster books that they know were a book before they were a movie. There's so many adaptations
I
that
get
are
what you're saying.
movies
Yeah.
that people don't even know that it was based on a book.
Yeah. So,
So-
that people see Fault in Our Stars and then later learn, oh, that was a book?
That was a book. I
As
mean,
opposed to like the Da Vinci Code.
right.
Yeah. Okay.
Exactly. So I think that's why sometimes when things are done from TV and board games, that they think it's going to be a little bit more bobo than it is, because they know what that is, and they know that it's going to be, they don't know if it's going to be successful or not.
Right. I agree with both of you. I also think that there's an element of when you adapt a book, you're adapting the story to the screen and you're selling the audience on that idea. But especially, I think this is personified no better than with the video game adaptation. You're adapting you want the audience to come, like, hey, like, we're making Street Fighter, everyone come, and then you don't focus on what the story of that is, and so it's like you're not adapting the right thing. You're trying to get the audience, but you're not. The audience will come if the story is good, but you're not worried about the story. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, no, same thing with, like, again, with a board game. It's like, you remember this board game, right? We made a movie out of it, but the board game didn't have a story, per se. So,
Right.
So the story
you're
does
playing
kind of have
toward...
to sell you on this one.
Well, and let's get into that, because Battleship is a game with very little story as a board game, right?
Yeah.
So is the idea of adapting Battleship into a movie a good or a bad idea?
I mean, it could be a good idea. I just don't want aliens to be my enemy.
Right.
Because there were no aliens in the game. Like, I want to see another ship fighting me, not a spaceship or bombs or anything like that.
I mean, you can easily get into a Hunt for Red October style story where it's just
Right.
submarines, strategy, planning, fighting, that kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Because in this movie, are there submarines?
No.
I was gonna say, so there are no submarines, so it's a completely different.
Missing that critical story component of a single submarine, damn it. There's not a lot of plot there, but the plot that we can extract from the Battleship board game is that it's two equal armies fighting each other, and there's an element of not being able to see each other, but being able to shoot at each other, right? So I think you're right. A Hunt for Red October style movie where it's like the U.S. versus the UK, or the U.S. being split in half and doing a standoff, new second Civil War, that would lend itself to Battleship and not totally fucking bastardize the concept. Which, again, I think, not to spoil anything, but 3 people on this couch like this movie, even though we will fully admit that adding aliens to it was a bad idea. Kev, you were saying that you like Peter Berg, Lone Survivor, Hancock, Friday Night Lights, The Kingdom.
I did not like The Kingdom. I will go on record saying
Interesting.
That was like CSI Saudi Arabia.
It was CSI Saudi Arabia.
Right.
And I was like, this is not good.
Right.
and it was like 2.5 hours long. So. So I got nothing against long movies, but a 2.5 hour CSI episode, no thank you.
Fair enough.
But overall, I think he's an interesting filmmaker, is very cultured in a lot of different things. He likes
Yeah.
football, he likes the military.
Football, military,
Culture.
nachos.
All
Culture,
American.
baby.
All American.
He's an all-American American.
All-American man. So
Are you guys familiar with him? To the ladies, are you guys familiar with him? And does his name mean anything to you?
I was familiar with his name, and then I looked him up and saw everything that he did, and wow, I'm very now his fan.
You're secretly a fan of him.
Secretly a
Surprise
fan.
yourself.
I even looked at old pictures of him, and he was really good looking. Not aging that well. He's not aging that well, but younger, he was very good looking.
Peter Berg, call us.
he's he's currently on the show Ballers on HBO. He plays the head coach of the Dolphins.
Yeah.
Ballers.
Really?
Yep. So there you go. I've like half watched that show and
Fun show.
can't get into it.
And Dwayne Johnson's in The Rock.
And The Rock,
The
right back into it.
Dwayne, can't escape him.
I've never seen any of those movies that you listed off, but I did really want to see Lone Ranger.
Oh, we'll get to Lone Ranger on this podcast.
But my
aren't we?
dad said it was bad. And
What? Kenny?
I know, my dad likes pretty much everything, so when he says something was not that good,
I think he got caught up in the cycle of hatred for that movie.
he might have.
Well, we're gonna talk Lone Ranger.
I
But
would want to.
are you talking about Lone Ranger or Lone Survivor?
Oh.
Lone Survivor is Peter Berg.
Yeah,
Lone
Peter
Ranger
Berg.
was
Yeah, that's the one.
was Gore Verbinski.
Disney, right?
My man did Rango. Gore Verbinski.
Oh.
Lone Survivor, amazing.
Never saw it.
Was
No.
that more
never
Oh
saw
my
it.
God.
Never saw Hancock. Never saw Friday Night Lights. Did see The Kingdom. Did like The Kingdom.
Okay.
So Peter Berg means nothing to me.
Yes.
There you go.
You know.
A whole range of opinions on Peter Berg in this here house.
So at this point in the podcast, this is where we get to rapid fire. It's Coke or Pepsi, no right or wrong answer. Just shout them out. Let me know what you think. Unless anyone has anything else to say.
Coke.
Okay, yeah, me too.
Oh. Did you start yet?
First question. White House Down or Olympus Has Fallen?
I've not seen either of those.
How dare you?
Neither. I haven't seen them.
I've seen them both, and they're fun. I would
one's
have
best?
to say White House Down.
I'm going to have to say Olympus Has Fallen.
Is that the Jamie Foxx one?
Jamie Foxx was White House Down.
Foxx is White House Down, and Gerard Butler is Olympus Has Fallen.
Oh, I love Gerard Butler.
I heard White House Down is much more tongue-in-cheek.
It is.
than
It's a little
Olympus
bit
Has
more
Fallen.
because Olympus Has Fallen is way more serious.
Yeah, that's
and
because
White House Down is a
Antoine
little bit more
Fuqua did
goofy.
that.
Goofy.
Yeah.
So, and then Roland Emmerich did White House Down. He of such goofball films as Independence Day and 2112 or 2012, not the Rush album 2112.
He did. Yeah, I heard he was a producer on that Rush album. Transformers or G.I. Joe?
Transformers.
Transformers.
Neither. I would say, as 80s toys, I'm going with Transformers. I'll do that much. As modern day films, neither.
As modern day films, I'm going to have to give the nod to Transformers because while there's more bad Transformers than there are G.I. Joe movies, there's at least one good Transformers movie and no good G.I. Joe movies.
That's a good
As
point.
toys, I gotta go G.I. Joes because I love the fuck out of G.I.
G.I. Joes were fun, and that G.I. Joe animated show was something else.
Was some,
as
some
cheaply as,
Ronald Reagan bullshit. But I loved it.
Oh, and
As cheaply
recently going
produced as it
Universal
was.
Transformers ride, amazing.
Yeah?
There's no G.I. Joe ride, but Transformers.
That Transformers ride
actually
is
pretty awesome.
out of control good.
I have not been to Universal Studios in a long time, and I need to remedy that.
Halloween Horror Night, tell me we're gonna do it.
We'll do it.
It's the only one
Jenny?
I like.
Late
In?
September though.
Yeah, so we're gonna go September. We're gonna go like right when it
All right,
opens.
that's cool.
And you'll be at home with a bottle of wine?
Yes, I will.
Love it, baby.
All righty.
Not being terrified and chased by.
She'll be at Saddle Ranch with a bottle of wine.
Riding the,
I'll be home.
riding the bull with a bottle of wine.
Shia LaBeouf or Mark Wahlberg?
I'm gonna go Shia LaBeouf. The biff. LaBeouf.
Marky Mark.
Ooh, devastating question here.
Shia LaBeouf, but before he was crazy.
You don't like that inspirational video he released where he just like, do it!
Wasn't he the
so
one?
Do
The
it!
one that put the paper bag on his head?
You can do
yeah.
that.
Yeah, and he sat like in an art gallery or something and did that and had people come and like talk.
Yeah.
Was it
Yeah,
talk to him
so-
or just look at him?
Before that.
I'm gonna go with Shia LaBeouf as well, but it's a.
Mark Wahlberg can be good in things, but I think his quality varies in his acting and his script choices.
I'm waiting for Shia LaBeouf to turn it around and be like,
We're Shia LaBeouf Boogie Nights, basically. Because Mark Wahlberg will always have Boogie Nights. That's
Yeah.
my second favorite film of all time.
second
Boogie
favorite of all
Nights.
time?
I love Boogie Nights.
When's the Boogie Nights podcast?
We'll
We
do it.
we do want to do a season that's all of our favorite movies. So
I got
mean
that.
that's gonna be episode 2 apparently.
Boogie Nights.
Dwayne Johnson or Channing Tatum?
I'm gonna go with The Rock. He's got a little more charisma, but
I think he has a lot more charisma.
Channing Tatum finding his mojo. What do you think that Gambit movie is gonna come out? He's gonna be Gambit
Rock.
homies.
The Rock by far.
The Rock.
Yeah, The Rock. Come on.
Rock.
Taylor Swift or Katy Perry?
Katy Perry. Taylor Swift
I love how
annoys,
Kev had that on the ready.
Taylor Swift annoys the shit out of me.
No, stop. This is so hard. I literally had this conversation a few days ago of who I would go for. Because they're feuding, and I don't want them to feud. I want them to make up.
What are they
And
feuding about?
John Mayer.
Oh my!
There was also-
I know.
There was also rumors of some of them trying to get people who roadies and technicians for tours and hogging guys and blah 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 blah.
There's a million roadies out there, so. But I
Yeah,
guess
but-
who's gonna you're gonna make more money on one tour over the other? So
I mean, right now you're gonna make more on Taylor Swift's tour, but
Yeah.
I'm not voting on this one.
Oh, interesting.
Taylor Swift.
Ah. It's tough because I think Katy Perry has a more interesting like look or persona, but Taylor Swift I think is more probably more talented. So I'm gonna go with more talent over that. But Kesha Forever. Red or blue?
Blue.
red,
Blue.
red, yeah,
Ugh, Bloods and Crips.
red and black.
Bloods and
My
Crips.
two favorite colors.
Line up the boats or just go for random stuff?
Line up the boats.
Random.
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 Well, sorry for being a strategy.
It's always backfired on me. You make a square out of them and then someone figures out you did it and then it's like fuck. Okay, so we're gonna get into what this movie. Good job, everyone. By the way,
That was a good rapid fire.
we're gonna get into what this movie theme, questionable adaptations. Whether you like it or not, just shout it out. If you haven't seen it, say you haven't seen it. If you haven't seen it and it sounds good, you can add that caveat if you want to. There's no rules. Play along at home. John Carter.
Haven't seen it,
Haven't
but
seen it.
have heard that it kind of got caught up in its own reputation. So I do want to watch it someday.
Not interested.
Not interested.
Haven't seen it. Interested. So Kev,
There you go.
I think we got another pick for the podcast.
John Carter. I really wish they had called it John Carter from Mars. I
Yes.
think that would have made a lot more sense because
Right.
that's the name of the novel that it came from, and John Carter is kind of a bleh name, but John Carter from Mars. Oh man, there's a movie.
Well, that gives me a lot more insight into what it's going to be about.
He's
too.
from Mars.
Because I
Or
didn't know that
goes
he
to
was from Mars.
See?
Or that he went to Mars.
See,
so.
Disney?
Shit. That campaign
Disney?
failed on this end.
My resume's in the mail.
Yeah. Lone Ranger.
I want to see it.
I'm interested.
Really liked the Lone Ranger.
Saw it with Kev.
We saw it for free.
Enjoyed the fuck out of it.
Yeah.
Clash of the Titans.
Not interested.
The original or the
No, the remake.
The Louis Leterre remake.
Yeah.
Didn't see it.
Did I see it?
No.
Okay, then I'm not interested.
Are you interested, Kev?
I'm really not interested.
I am not interested as well. And seeing how none of us are interested, we're just going to go ahead and skip Wrath of the Titans. Because I feel like, that math is never going to add
Also,
up.
Liam Neeson in that one too.
Yeah.
How you doing, Liam?
He likes to work.
I guess so. You got to stay busy. I
Yeah.
guess.
Pirates of the Caribbean.
I think the first two are quite good. The third one tried to do too much, and I never saw the fourth one.
I agree. I only like the first two. I didn't watch the third or the fourth.
Davy Jones is a great villain, and Bill Nighy is brilliant.
Yeah.
I watched all of them, of course. I would.
In the theater.
In the theater.
Opening weekend.
They got
like
my
we
money.
do.
I know, but then after watching the fourth one, I decided I was not going to give them any more of my money. but I loved the first movie.
Yeah, the first one's good. I'll go so far as to say the second one and the third one are both bad, and the fourth one makes the second one look good. So fuck this series. It's over. No more of my money. You already got Star Wars and you already got fucking Marvel, Disney. Fucking move on, all right? Just move on.
I get excited for number 5. Currently in production.
No,
Is there
I'm
a
not-
number 5?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Wait,
no.
they're gonna bring back Orlando Bloom because that was the fucking problem, right? That he wasn't in there. Get out of here. Haunted Mansion.
Never saw it.
Never saw it.
Never saw it, no interest.
Never seen it. Although Guillermo del Toro is rumored to be doing another version of it, I would see the shit out of that.
I've heard. That's what I've heard. I don't think he needs to. He's got Crimson Peak coming out.
But that's coming out. It's already done. What's he gonna do next? And then the answer to that question is
Pacific Rim 2.
Pacific Rim 2. And then what's after that? Haunted Mansion?
Maybe he'll finally do At the Mouth of Madness?
Nope.
No,
Nope.
never happened.
Cowboys v Aliens.
Never saw it.
Not interested.
Okay, so I saw it, and I'm not gonna say that I liked it, but my favorite part was Harrison Ford asking about, because the aliens are trying to find gold.
Hold on. Spoilers for
Wait, is
Cowboys
this the
v
one with
Aliens.
Daniel Craig?
Yes,
it
I
is.
do love Daniel Craig, though. But I still was not interested.
Yeah.
There's a great scene where it's revealed that the aliens are, because I was there,
Yes.
the aliens are here to get gold from the Wild West, which is a reveal that really falls flat, and Harrison Ford, being the fucking G that he is, and somehow transcending time and space, is the voice of the audience, and he's like, why? And then they explain why very quickly, and he's like, what are they gonna do? Buy something? And it's the funniest line in the whole movie. It fits in no way, and it's the voice of the audience where it's like, that's the reveal?
That is so dumb. Yeah.
That's so
Why do
dumb.
they need
Good.
gold?
Yeah,
It powers
powers
their
their
ships.
ship or something. Who cares?
I just picture a bunch of little alien prospectors who are like, we're gonna get some gold!
If that was the case, that movie would be 1,000 times
With
better
the
than
little
what it
picks.
is.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just like they have like tentacles with picks.
Yeah.
Just like, got a spittoon!
It's sad that they rejected your draft, Kev. 'Cause,
Disney, come on, Disney. Did Disney make that?
yeah, I know John Favreau made
Jan
that.
Favreau, he's tight with Disney. My resume's in the mail. I got ideas.
Mm-hmm. G.I. Joe.
Never saw it.
Not interested.
I saw it, and I wanted it to be better than it was.
Yes, because it was bad.
It was bad.
Oh boy.
I want it to be good. That's what I want. And I'd be willing if someone was, you know what? But at this point, I don't want it. If they're gonna reboot it, I'm not gonna see that.
No.
I gave you 2 chances. You fucked it up twice. I don't have any faith. Tron Legacy.
Thought much like the first Tron, it was oddly balanced and strange, but oddly compelling as well.
Interesting.
I never saw it, but I'm interested, but not interested enough to go and want to like search and look for it. Like maybe if it's on TV, I'll start watching it. But
If
other
it
than
finds
that-
you,
yeah,
you'll
if it
watch
finds
it?
me, I'll watch it.
I did see that movie, and I didn't understand it because I didn't watch any of the previous movies, so I didn't get.
Yeah,
the
you
plot.
really do need a working knowledge of
Of the-
1982 Tron.
Yeah, and
to
I didn't
really
have any
kind
of
So
those.
I have never seen 1982 Tron, which we were gonna do for this podcast. I saw this movie. It doesn't make any fucking sense. They don't ever explain what Tron is. Like Tron turned out to be a dude, and it's like, but he's like not even in the movie. It's like I thought Tron was the world. Like
Yeah.
we're in Tron, but you're not in Tron. Tron's a guy in the world, which is the grid, which I had to look up to figure this shit out. Which if I'm looking this up to figure it out, fuck you.
But I like the colors. I like the visuals.
Visually.
with the black and then the neon
But
colors.
but also proof that visuals are not enough.
no, they're not.
And Claudio Miranda shot that movie, so always looking sharp. Claudio Miranda.
Speaking of sharp, Prince of Persia.
Never saw it. Game's fun though.
Never saw it.
I saw it and I really liked it.
And I was also at that screening, and I really didn't like it.
but I think what I liked is I liked seeing all the video game aspects put into play, like how he twirls on like the
Sticks.
sticks to get up places. That's what I like.
Did he have the time dagger?
It came up is at the climax. It came into play. He didn't use it. Wasn't usually using it all the time.
Because in the game, Prince of Persia: Sands of Time, you have that as your thing, and you have to use it in very strategic ways.
And he
so.
did.
Yeah, but.
But then if they pull it out right at the end, that's kind of bobo. So.
Yeah.
All
All
right.
right. Final 5 here. The A-Team.
Oh, that movie's great. Love the A-Team.
Loved it.
It was so good.
So good, and it had no business even being okay, but it was fucking
It
amazingly
got
good.
so unfairly bashed.
Yeah, unfairly bashed as a Bobo adaptation, and it's like, no. No, you don't know how this is gonna go.
The characters were really good.
So good. Even fucking Quentin Jackson, who is like an MMA fighter, did good as Mr. T.
Yeah,
Great.
it was good.
B.A. Baracus.
I Am Number 4.
I never saw it.
I don't even know what that is.
Of course I saw it.
It's an adaptation of a YA novel.
And
Which is why I never saw it.
which is why I saw it.
Conversely,
And I didn't like it, but the last 15 minutes and the last fight scene were very good, but that did not make up for the rest of the movie. So it was
yeah, the
pretty
first
bad.
hour and 15 minutes were pretty much a slog, but that last 15 turned it up. So they just need to rework the first hour of the movie.
3/4 of the movie.
Right. Clue.
It's a great movie. It's fun. I have not watched it in a long time though. Want to give it?
Yeah, it's been a while. It's all right.
We watched it a couple of years ago. It holds up still. It's still great.
It's
Tim
so fun.
Curry, Christopher Lloyd, just lots of
Yeah.
great, tons of
And
top talent.
and a board game adaptation done correctly. Mortal Kombat.
I think it's underrated. I think it's a fun movie. Mortal Kombat Annihilation, awful. But that animatronic Goro, he's not bad. That's a pretty good little special effect.
Not interested.
I saw it in my childhood and I really liked it, but I haven't seen it since I was like 7.
Yeah, I haven't seen it in a long time. I remember liking it as a kid, but now as an adult, I want like a X-rated fucking just gory,
yeah,
like
that's
just like
what
the
I
video
want.
game. I want people's heads to get ripped off. I want fucking, I want it to be in bad taste.
Those
I want
new-
a bad taste Mortal Kombat movie.
These new fatalities they got in
Yeah,
the game
they are brutal.
vile.
Yeah.
In the best way possible. That's what I want.
I also want Jason Voorhees and the Predator to be in this movie
Yeah. They better be. And,
So-
and Jack's dressed up like Carl Weathers.
too. Yeah. So one more rapid fire. This is rapid fire future edition. Upcoming Hasbro movies that are announced, not confirmed, but we'll see how it goes. Some of them are coming out. Most of them that are early on this list. And the only thing I need to know is, do you want to see it? So, first things first. Gem and the Holograms, put out by Universal and Blumhouse.
Not at all interested.
No.
I don't know what that is, so no.
I'm gonna say no, and that trailer looks terrible.
Yes, it does.
Ouija 2.
No.
No. I didn't even
No.
see the first one.
Did not see the.
I'm gonna say no too, but the thing is that is the perfect fucking horror movie premise. If a Ouija board was real, right? Like if you're making a ghost movie, that's perfect. Like that lends itself to a movie so well. It's just we all go in a house, teenagers, adults, period piece now, future, anytime. Fucking bust up that Ouija board, blah 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 blah, ghost, some shit happens, right? Like you can make one movie like that every year. You know what I'm saying? And they fucked it up, but it's just like it's a great premise. Love it.
I think if they didn't make it a straight up horror movie, it would be more interesting.
Like a mystery movie?
yeah, like almost like a Winchester Mansion
But
seance.
right there. And you could do locate. You can make a good TV show too, where every
Yeah.
season's a good different place.
That
So
would
like
be-
Winchester Mystery House, some haunted sanitarium on the East Coast.
Yeah.
So, a fucking
And that plays into like
The
American
Magic
Horror
Castle.
Story now.
yeah. Well, fucking
He did it. He took it.
My Little Pony, put out by Lionsgate.
I'm a male, so no.
Yes.
1,000 times yes.
I'm gonna say no, but the fact that my girlfriend said yes means I'm probably gonna
You're
see it
going,
anyways.
homie.
yes, you
Yeah, I'm
are.
going. Transformers 5, Paramount. Fool me 4 times. Shame on you.
As I said, stopped at 1, so no.
No.
I will not see it in theaters, but I will probably watch it when it comes out on video.
And I will break my own curse by ceasing to watch these movies. Transformers 3, Paramount.
Transform. What?
I'm sorry. G.I. Joe 3, Paramount.
Oh yeah, no.
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 Channing Tatum's not in it anymore. What's there to see?
Oh,
Not about
Channing
to start
Tatum's
now.
on it?
And
No.
the
Remember,
Rock,
he
and the
died.
Rock's not in it. Right?
Spoilers, he died.
Oh, I forgot about
The
that.
Rock not gonna be in
Wasn't
it?
there like a Wayne's brother in it?
He was in the first one.
Ugh. Awful.
And it was Damon, the good one.
So, still bad.
Hungry Hungry Hippos, which is put out by Emmett Fura Oasis Films. They're the same people who did Lone Survivor. Peter Berg.
Super gritty, hungry hippo.
Killer Hippos?
We're starving, man. Could be interesting. We'll see.
Yes.
I'm curious, what kind of talent's that gonna get?
Yes.
I'd say I'm shocked that everyone said yes,
Talk to me when a director's attached.
and And the only way I'd see it if it was animated. If it's live action and it's like talking hippos or some shit, or like Operation Dumbo Drop, I don't want any part of that fucking shit.
Like Kangaroo Jack. Or
yeah,
something
I don't
like
want any part of that.
Yeah.
But if it's fully animated, then we'll talk.
I think it would be interesting if you did it, because we just watched Tremors, so if you did it in that, like, fun, goofy vein, where I would watch that.
So it's like,
Like,
so
it
your
would
picture's
be-
like a horror movie where those hippos are out to eat us.
Exactly.
Wow.
The hippos would be Jaws or Tremors.
Oh.
Or whatever those
Shit.
things are called.
Holy, we need to get a treatment for this ASAP. That's a good idea.
That's my only parameter for Hungry Hungry Hippos, is if it's like that, then I will see it. If it's not like that, then no.
Get Kevin Bacon on the phone right now.
Tatanka, Sony Animation / Happy Madison, aka
Adam Sandler.
Adam Sandler.
No. Just that name alone.
Yeah, saying
No.
Adam Sandler means no.
See, I think, the idea of an animated Tatanka movie, I think that could work, but then you put Adam Sandler in there and it's like, nope.
I wish you guys could see us rolling our eyes.
To the audience at home, it got real sad in this room. Magic the Gathering over at Fox.
That'd be so hard to follow. That game is hard to follow. I can't figure it out. So probably
We'll
not,
talk after.
Not interested. We'll see.
Semi-interested.
So interested.
I am also so interested because I got the game from my fucking iPhone. Love that fucking game on the iPhone. And it's basically a fantasy game, but the way it works is that there's like multiple planes of reality. So every like time they release a new set, it's like a new plane of reality. So it's like the same kind of shit, but like a new setting.
It scares me.
But that totally ends up to a franchise. Also,
It could.
there's people who can move between those things, and they're like the heroes of the story. Which in the Infinite World, where everyone wants to make an Avengers movie, you could have all of those dudes have their own movie, and then make one where they all team up. So it lends itself to Avengering.
All right.
The Avengering, guys. No.
Also,
No one?
also known as 2010 filmmaking.
Yeah. So what do you think, babe? Why are you excited? Because it's fantasy.
Because it's fantasy, and because it has although I've never played it, I did play it in middle school for like 5 seconds, but then I didn't understand it. So, but I like the aesthetic of the cards. I think that they could
If they could bring it to life, it would be cool.
they could translate it really well
Yeah.
visually, and then I like that the world is so big. You could there's a lot of different avenues you could take it.
Play-Doh, also at Fox.
Hell no.
No.
Why?
If the Cloudy with a Chance of Meatball guys, aka the Lego Movie guys, do it, then yes. But if they're not doing it, then no.
But is it like animated? Do we know how this
We
is
don't know.
gonna be?
We don't know nothing. We don't know if it's Blue Sky. We don't know if it's Fox Animation. We don't know if it's Live Action Division, Fox 2000. We don't know if it's Searchlight. What if it was Searchlight? It's like an indie.
They'd be like, yes.
What if it?
Winter at
Then I'll say
Sundance.
yes.
Well, Fox works with what's his face, Wes Anderson a lot. What if it was Wes Anderson?
Yes.
Wes Anderson Play-Doh movie, huh?
Yeah. What if he just sells the fuck out?
I'd go see that.
Beyblade over at Paramount.
What is that?
I think it's the thing where you spin you spin it and then they fight each other or
Oh.
something.
Kinda
I'm not really familiar with Beyblade.
Kind of like Crossfire back in the day.
No,
that board game?
it's different.
I mean,
The looks around the room. I think we should.
I
just
have
move
no
on,
idea
right?
what that is.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay. Monopoly. Also, the people who did Lone Survivor gonna put out the Monopoly movie.
I said if they get the right talent on it, there is a story there. I think.
Yeah, I'd be interested.
It has the right tone, yes.
I think surprisingly we're all in agreement there. Because on paper it's a terrible idea. Dungeons and Dragons over at Warner Brothers.
They already tried it and failed once. I have no faith in them to do it again.
Not interested.
Somebody's eyes just lit up right over here.
Of course, I'd be interested. and I did see that one that they already did.
Right.
It wasn't very good.
It was very 90s, even though I think it came out in the 2000s.
Yeah, it was still in that 90s fantasy vein.
And I'm going to disagree with you two because they've made the Lord of the Rings movies and I think they're chasing that Lord of the Rings style money and feel. So if they make a Dungeons and Dragons movie in the guise of Lord of the Rings, right? That could be fun.
Could be.
Big epic, taking it seriously. Nope. Jenny, not
So
convinced?
No, not sold on it.
Are you a fantasy person?
I can be. I'd probably wait for like on demand to see this.
Wait for that red box.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of hype for that Warcraft movie coming out too. So that might steal some thunder out of Dungeons and Dragons, though.
But maybe they just keep their
Or
fantasy.
they keep it going.
That's
We'll see.
that's the new trend is fantasy.
Yeah, that Warcraft movie at Comic-Con.
Killing it.
Killing it.
Last one, motherfucking Candyland. However, wait for it. Happy Madison, Columbia,
Oh boy.
Sony.
I want to say yes,
With the
but
wind
I'm gonna say no,
out of the
just
sails.
because of who it's associated with.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe.
Do you know what Sony's top grossing movie so far this year is?
Is it Aloha?
Please don't say Pixels.
Paul Blart Mall Cop 2 at $106 million.
They're having a rough time.
They're not a good year for Sony.
Yeah, having a tough time.
Yep. So no, I'm not interested in that.
Yeah, I mean, after the Lego movie, I do feel we didn't talk about the Lego movie in all of this, but it's like when I read that they were making a Lego movie on Deadline, I was like, that's the fucking worst idea in the history of bad ideas, and that movie is so good.
So good.
That it makes me think that if you had someone who actually had a coherent vision on anything, you could make something cool. Like if that Candyland trailer came out and there was a good trailer and it was like, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna have this fucking Alice in Wonderland acid trip of a good time. Maybe.
With the right talent and the right vision, you can polish a turd. They've done it a few times just this decade alone.
Right.
So
Lego movie and also Battleship.
we'll see.
Yeah. All right, so that's all I got. Thanks for playing, guys. Thanks for coming out. Anyone else gonna add anything?
No, I'm excited.
Excited?
Time to watch.
Hold on. Are you excited? I know you're excited.
Yes, I am.
My expectations are set accordingly.
All right. With that, here we go.
Here we go.
And we're back. Battleship, just fucking watched it.
A mere feet from this location.
And literally no feet. It was on this very couch.
Wow.
To recap, we all recorded that first half and then immediately ordered a pizza and then immediately started watching Battleship on Blu-ray.
Pizza was delicious.
It was delicious. It was pineapple, bacon, and pepperoni.
That's my favorite combo for pizza right there.
It's a pretty devious combo. Speaking of devious combos, Battleship. Watch it on Blu-ray. Anyone want to summarize this movie before we get into it? Kev?
I will summarize it. Being my first time watching Battleship,
Right.
I will give it a summary.
The person who has seen it the least will summarize it now.
Yes.
Go ahead.
So we come out in 2006. We have this kid, Alex Hopper, who is played by Taylor Kitsch. He's kind of a goon. He's kind of a doofus. And he sees Sam, played by Brooklyn Decker, and Brooklyn Decker's boobs, walk into a bar. It's very impressive.
It was a collaboration between, just for the listener, it's a collaboration between her and her boobs. Go ahead.
I think that, that's what he's attracted to. Anyways, goes to a bar. She wants a chicken burrito. Bar doesn't have chicken burritos. Or says, kitchen's closed. Closes the microwave. He goes across the street to the convenience store. Breaks into it. Gets her a chicken burrito. And is taken into custody by the police. His brother, played by Alexander Skarsgård, says, "You're going to the Navy." Flash forward 6 years later. We got Alex is in the Navy. And he wants to... Him and Sam have been dating since the chicken burrito incident.
Presumably, yeah.
Presumably. He wants to marry her. Her dad is the Admiral of the Navy, played by Liam Neeson. And so he's going to ask him for permission to marry her. In the meantime, they go out they play soccer against a Japanese team to kick off these war games. He meets this guy, Ngata. Is that the Nagata? Nagata is the Japanese captain of the ship. The Americans lose due to him having a poor soccer kick, and then they're shipped out to these war games. During these war games, Are you with me, listeners? Okay. During
There's,
the
hold
war
on.
games,
There's already been a bar sequence with it ending in a tasing. There's already been a soccer game ending with a hilariously missed goal. And we have not gone onto a boat yet.
yeah, there have been no boats except the commemoration of the Midway, where a bunch of old dudes are brought on to commemorate this boat being decommissioned.
Okay, so now we're literally 30 minutes in, and we're on a boat. Go ahead. Playing a war game. Go ahead.
So now they go out to this war game, and did I mention in the beginning that they sent a transmission to alien life forms potentially? The NASA or some other organization sends a transmission out. They think it's going to hit this alien planet. Well, we see these ships coming back to Earth that are of alien origin. They crash land. They put a force field around where they crash land, which encompasses some of the battleships. And then it's up to the battleships and Alex and Sam and a guy with no legs to fight off the alien forces before they destroy the world, presumably.
Two-front battle, half of it on the sea, half of it on the Hawaii mainland. Oahu mainland with Mick, who is the veteran with no legs, and Sam is on Oahu. What's his face? Taylor Kitsch is in the sea.
Hopper.
Fighting 3, like...
whale-like battleships of
alien origin, which each other ship can't track the other one except for manually.
And they do destroy the 3, but then there's a big mother that comes out of the ground, and all their battleships get destroyed, and they're like, oh no, what do we do? Well, they get on the Missouri, Big Mo, and they get the Old Man Brigade onto the boat.
A World War II steam-powered battleship.
And they use the Old Man Brigade who ran it back in World War II.
Who are creepily just...
The veterans.
Who just kind of hang around there.
Who are apparently living on this fucking thing.
Their Uber didn't get there. And so, yeah, they get on the old warship. They take on the Big Daddy spaceship. Meanwhile, Sam and No Legs Guy fight off the aliens on the mainland. They use a 2012 Jeep to blast through their communication systems, therefore ending the communication, therefore saving the world and everybody. And then he asks for permission to marry the daughter. Finally, Liam Neeson says no, but he says, let's go get a chicken burrito and discuss the terms of your surrender. The surrender being his manhood. 2012 Battleship.
Post-credit sequence, a bunch of, what would you say?
They were Scottish.
Scottish douchebags, kids.
Total shit-faced little Scottish kids.
A bunch of yardies, if you will.
Yeah.
Find part of a broken ship. It looks like a meteor, really. Then some random, plumber shows up, and they fry it open, and then inside is, surprise, surprise, an alien. And a scene that is... why does this exist?
I mean, maybe their idea because they were so convinced this movie was going to be such a hit, they're going to set up a sequel, set it in Northern Europe, where the waves are a lot choppier. It's a different environment than Hawaii, and then that's going to be your setting for a sequel. You're going to fight.
Touche, Kev. Touche.
For Edinburgh, for London, for Dublin, that area. So.
In that scene, at that meteor thing that the alien pops out of after they finally get it open, I feel like it was part of the ship that was broken. You know how there was
ended up in China?
Yeah.
They
and
did
spread
mention.
out. They mentioned it was Scotland and Ireland, but in China as well. So I feel like that was part of the ship that was breaking down, and it was just he was in.
Is it like an escape pod?
Almost somewhere where he was probably hiding, or I don't know.
So normally this is where we end talking about the movie and we start talking about our thoughts on it. But before we do that, I want to start with Jenny. I would ask you what you think, but do you remember when I told you we're going to do Battleship for this spot, and you said Battleship, and I said, what do you think about Battleship? Do you remember the quote?
Yes.
Well,
best, worst thing ever.
Indeed. That's what you said. You said, quote unquote, Battleship is the best and the worst. Em, where do you fall on this equation?
It's the best. I love it. I love a military movie. I love all the, patriotism and the music.
You do have a soft spot.
You like some good jingoism in your action movies?
For sake of spoilers, we couldn't go into it too much, giving away the third act where all the old men come back. But like, if someone was gonna write a movie for Emily, that is the scene that you would be like, all right, this is what she wants.
That's what I
And then you go
want.
straight into a montage, just like fucking get out of here.
With AC/DC just blaring.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You've hooked, line, sinker on Emily.
I would say that I like this movie, but it is a lovable mess. You know what I mean? It's like, it's a big old mess, but you like it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Kev, what do you think about this movie?
I didn't hate this movie like I thought I was going to hate this movie. Mm-hmm. But it is a hot mess on many levels.
Yes.
So.
I think, yeah. But on some level, okay. The thing is, I think tonally it's very light in times where it shouldn't be. Like, there's not really any stakes to this movie.
It's a very goofy tone.
Yes.
Bordering on parody.
But now that I watched it all the way through completely now for like the fifth or sixth time, like it definitely knows that it wants. This is the movie they wanted to make. Like they didn't accidentally.
They didn't try to shoehorn a bunch of jokes into it. It's like we're gonna be kind of jokey and we're gonna be kind of silly.
And I will put the movie over by saying there's some fucking funny jokes in this movie that are like legitimately funny.
Name one.
I have a list. I have a
help
list.
me
here.
out.
Hold on. How do I look? He's gonna go talk to Brooklyn Decker or whatever. He's like, how do I look? His brother's like, huh, let me see. Slaps him in the face and he says, awesome. That's funny. The timing on that is just funny.
All right.
What's your name? Hungry. That was funny. Liam Neeson, he starts a Homer quote. It's like, keep the ship out of the shore and rocks and boat. And then the guy finishes the quote and he says, the fact that you know that infuriates me beyond words. Like, those were all fucking funny jokes. No one? No? Nothing?
Nah, not
They were
really.
funny scenes. They were funny scenes because the whole scene hyped it up like the joke.
Yeah. And like the idea that he's like, I fell... he's like, it's like the Marx Brothers. Like I felt it was like the Marx Brothers. He's like, did you say the Marx Brothers?
Jerry Lewis.
Or Jerry Lewis. You say
Yeah.
Jerry Lewis? Are you kidding me? Just like, I don't know. They go for it.
The best visual joke was when they're like, that shell weighs 1,000 pounds. How are we going to get it across? Mm-hmm. Hard cut to them all just carrying the thing.
Down the narrow
Going,
hallway.
"Yeah, yeah."
But then when they're playing soccer for no reason and then he kicks the ball and it goes way over the goal, there's funny shit in this movie. Go ahead.
Also, you had in that soccer game, you had brought up Brianna wearing a completely different shirt than everyone in uniform. Mm-hmm. And in my mind, I was thinking, not only is she wearing a totally different cut-off shirt that said like
Hoods.
but why is she the only girl on the team? Like, is she supposed to be playing? Like, or is this supposed to be like a men's game? Not trying to be sexist, but it was just like,
Yeah, well,
why is
there's-
she the only woman on this? Like,
Well, there are
Right.
only two female characters in the whole movie.
true.
One is Sam and one is Rihanna.
Well, and they do make a concerted effort to make her, the fact that she's a woman, she's not less than because she's a woman, but there is a bigger statement being like she's the only woman here.
Yeah.
So it's like she's not lesser. Not that we'd ever invite anyone who's not Rihanna famous. Also, what is Rihanna doing in this movie? Ridiculous.
It's a great point. I mean,
Wearing
2012
a
was
horrible
like,
wig.
that was her huge year. So,
Was it?
that was like, when
Was that
Umbrella
that's the umbrella year, huh?
So, I mean, it's...
I almost said milkshake. That's right.
That was the way to get the
Khalees.
kid. Yeah, is that Khalees? Yeah, Khalees.
Khalees was milkshake.
You're right. I think that was the way to get the kids who wouldn't go see a military rah-rah movie to go see a military rah-rah movie.
Mm-hmm.
Some studio exec went, put Rihanna in there. Oh yeah, and then that was it. So that was me.
He had a real,
Okay.
he had a real runny nose that day. He was just sick as a dog.
So yeah, that's why Rihanna.
So what do we want to say about this movie, if anything?
It was really hard to stay focused on some shots because Taylor Kish is so much shorter than Liam Neeson. and Alan
true.
Like, I looked up his height. 'Cause, like, how tall is this guy? He's 5'11", decent average height. But compared to 6'4", 6'3", 6'2", like Liam Neeson, it was just, like, really hard to, like, watch him. Because he was just so tiny compared to them. So tiny.
Speaking of, another funny sequence is when, so right after he gets tased, he's in the bathtub full of ice, and then he gets out, and his brother's yelling at him about how undisciplined he is, and how he's like, you're gonna start listening to me, and all he keeps saying is, have you seen my back? Oh my god, that's a hole! Like,
I got tased.
I got tased! Like, you got problems. He's like, I got tased! It's a fucking gag a minute in this fucking alien invasion movie.
And he legitimately was living on the couch. There was crap all over the couch when he sat down.
Uh-huh.
It's true. So I think big thing I noted in my notes here. all of the performances are a hot mess in this movie.
Elaborate.
Taylor Kitsch is neither can play a goofball, who's a slacker, nor can he play a convincing sea captain.
I think he makes a convincing slacker. You don't think he's a convincing slacker?
I think
He didn't believe that garbage around his bed?
Oh, he's straining so hard. I think trying to be like doofy and, you know, a doofus and goofy and all that. I just, you know, someone like Chris Pratt pulls that off effortlessly. And then Taylor Kitsch is that's just not in his wheelhouse. He's just trying so hard to do it. Brooklyn Decker, I don't buy her for a second as a physical therapist or anybody who has ever been around the military.
I will just say that whole physical therapy subplot and Mick's character and all of that
I'm
could have
getting
been
to Mick,
easily
homie.
no, that all could have been easily cut if this movie would have been just the same or better.
but it didn't get cut.
It did
so I'm
not.
going to talk about it. So I thought by far and away Rihanna was going to have the worst performance in this movie. She's very wooden in all of her lines. Doesn't really have that toughness that I think they were really trying to get. But that Mick motherfucker. All right. So the dude who plays Mick, I don't have his name handy, but he was an army vet. He did lose his legs in Afghanistan. He served his country. That's great. Good job. He has no business being in front of a camera trying to play a character.
No.
No, he's terrible.
He is. The quote I wrote down is aliens. That was the choice quote.
Yeah, he's like, yo, like the Hawaiian cop comes up and he's like, you have to get off this island. There's reports of aliens. Aliens?
Yeah. Just way. I mean.
That's the best take, guys. That's the best take.
That was the one that, in this, however much this movie cost,
I believe
that was the
100.
take that a million people said yes.
Yeah.
That's the one that's going to be in there.
And maybe if you know, maybe all the rest of his lines are bad, but the one thing that I thought was done really well, probably because of his life experience, is when she's sitting down talking to him about losing his legs and him being the same person that won the boxing glove award and like all that.
Golden Glove. Yeah,
The Golden
Gloves.
Gloves.
Yeah.
And he says, but I lost my legs. I'm only half a man, and half a man is not a soldier. And they go in on his eyes, and that's all you see is his eyes, and they close. And I thought that was really an effective, beautiful moment, as like a humanistic moment, because that was probably based on his life. That's actually probably how he feels, or how he felt at one time.
I agree with you, and I also think when we are introduced to him and he's walking on a little treadmill thing and he gets all frustrated, I think all of that comes from a real place.
Yeah.
And then immediately,
And then he puts the guy in the chokehold with his steel leg.
yeah. Well, and then he's like, that's a funny line. She's like, I'm sensing a lot of anger, and he's like, you're very perceptive. That's a funny line. But then once they get on the mountain, his performance, in the safety of the studio,
My grandmother could walk this
my
trail.
grandmother could walk this trail. It's like,
What is that?
who are you talking to?
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to see an alien. I ain't ever seen an alien. It's just very sad.
It's bad.
But I do
So
agree.
bad.
But to your point, I do agree. I think the scenes where they're actually talking about his injury, I think, it's probably really easy for him to like talk about like how painful this must have been.
But those were his best delivered lines.
Yeah.
Too.
Oh yeah.
There's
So
a movie in there somewhere.
Yeah.
The physical therapist and the man with no legs.
I don't know if I want to watch that
bobbing
movie.
over. I mean, yeah, it's
Oh, wait, you mean like without an alien invasion?
yeah without the
Oh, yeah.
yeah, not just them and the alien invasion, just them bonding over his experience, her experience, whatever. But yeah, just cut out the whole alien invasion Taylor Kitsch part, and you might have a movie there somewhere. But yeah, you gotta get shoehorned in. So.
Yes. Also, to revisit, $220 million is the reported budget according to Wikipedia.
Wowza! How much did it make?
The box office, 300. The quick statistic is 303.
All right,
But don't forget that tie-in, video game and board game wise.
and you gotta do your marketing. This thing was marketed like crazy when it came
Was.
out.
Well, people say it's half the budget or double the budget to
Yeah.
market it. I don't really believe that. 'Cause I
Well,
don't think
it's double the budget to make a profit. Is
the term.
the
Oh,
rule
yeah.
of thumb, so.
And then it's half the budget to market it,
yeah,
right?
exactly.
I don't. People say that. I don't believe that about a lot of things. Like American Ultra just came out, and like that movie, they did not spend half the budget marketing it. with this movie, I do believe that because this shit was all over buses. It was all over billboards.
It was on Subway.
Subways.
Promo.
I think there's a Super Bowl spot. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah,
like
there was
Yeah.
they're pushing it. So wait, we said Subways or Subway the restaurant?
Subway, the restaurant. Yeah.
Because there was a when the at the ballpark when the fucking rolly grinder things were attacking, a girl had a Subway cup and the logo was facing out, and I'm like, this is the most bizarre place for product placement.
And the most
bizarre.
the most obvious insert shot in like history. It's like, okay, let's get some smoke and we'll put it in the background and give the girl a Subway cup and turn, and we got it.
So I want to direct this towards Emily really quick. Because you have watched this movie more than all of us, and the more you watched it, the more you started seeing patterns in the chaos, right?
Right.
And do you want to give us with what you think under? Because on the surface, right, it's a alien invasion movie, and then aliens invade Earth, we fight them off. One level down, it's a movie about serving the military and doing what's right and putting yourself out there for the protection of others, right? But what is it one level below that?
Well, I think it's a really good story of brothers and how, because basically Taylor Kitsch's character is a screw up, so he has to become a man, he has to become a soldier because he wasn't really taking it seriously. So when I first watched this movie and Stone Hopper dies, I was like, well, is he really dead? Because how can they kill his brother? So after like only 40 minutes of the movie.
How can you kill Alexander Skarsgård?
I know,
Yeah.
right? He's the one who's gonna save us all. But like you have to kill off his character to allow Taylor Kitsch's character to elevate himself and live up to all the potential that everybody sees in him. They see potential, but he keeps screwing it up.
Right.
And he has to forge that relationship with Nagata because when Nagata is pulling all the men from the water, he's instrumental in helping them survive, and he is in fact showing Taylor Kitsch's character how to be a captain.
Well, so like in the beginning of the movie, the first conversation the two brothers have is about how Taylor Kitsch's character needs to either call like Tony or whatever to become a construction worker or join the Navy. And he's like, you don't have any discipline, whatever. Here's to, and then the quote that they do right before when they toast is like, even though you don't have, basically it summarizes, even though you don't have success, we'll toast to you like eventually finding it. And he doesn't want to toast to that. And he's like, but it's true. And then he fucks up again and he joins the Navy and he becomes something in the Navy, but he lacks discipline, right? He's always late and the Admiral doesn't like him. And when they're doing the war games and he gets in trouble and he's going to get kicked out of the Navy, he's like, who do I call to teach you humility? So these things keep coming up and up, where it's like he needs to become responsible.
Well, and he also needs to become selfless because that's what the position that he's put into. And even in the Rim Pack Cup when they're playing soccer, he wants to take the final shot.
Mm-hmm. Even though he's concussed, even though he's injured.
He probably can't do it. He probably knows he can't do it, but he's going to do it anyway because he needs to keep going and pushing even though he knows he shouldn't. And then later on when they have their final bomb to toss out, the enemy ship is gonna put out all the spinners, but he knows he has to bomb the island, so he has to make that decision. Do I do something for myself or do I do something for like humanity? Right.
Which when his brother gets killed, he's like, let's just ram this thing because the guns aren't ready. And it's like, you're just doing what you want to do to get revenge, which I will also at this point insert that after that he completely forgets about his brother and it's never brought up again. But he's like, you can do what you want for revenge, or you could help the people who are in the water who need saving, who risk their lives to back you up because your guns weren't ready. And when you were, that's what the Japanese boat says. It's like, they need backup, like fire or whatever, and then they get fucked up.
Well, and I like that the Hawaiian guy grabs him and physically shakes him and says, "There's soldiers in the water. You have to get them out."
Yeah. So really, it's the story of a guy learning responsibility in the conundrum of alien invasion. Maybe not the best fit for these two stories, because I do think that up until the alien invasion, it's a super consistent movie. Like, if there was no alien invasion and it was just a war games, I think this movie would have made a lot more sense.
It's Top Gun-esque.
Yeah, you know what I mean? It's about a guy learning, to be responsible, and then we kind of shoehorn this alien plot in there, and it's like, you know, the soccer game is like, you know, the soccer game and the Alien Invasion don't belong in the same movie.
No.
No. We didn't need the soccer game at all.
But, you know, but it's so goofy that I'm almost glad we have it. It's
not reminiscent of the Top Gun volleyball scene.
The whole time, too, I was thinking, like, when he goes to the Navy and he's been in the Navy for 6 years or whatever the time difference is, he was 26 at the start of the movie. Isn't there, like, a cutoff age where you can't join the armed forces? Or am I just, like, making that up?
Maybe in a pre 9/11 army, but I think afterwards now it's like if you're
Pretty
able.
open?
Yeah, I think they're pretty open. But that's a good question. I don't know.
But I would say 26 is still
Pretty young.
That's getting
Below
up
the
there
cutoff.
for anybody in any branch of the military.
Really?
So it's getting up
Yeah,
there.
I think
So,
that's, like, an older kind of...
I have a friend who's 28 and he's like almost retired from the Marines.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So he's got like one more year.
I do think also this movie is not concerned with reality. You know what I mean? That's not like super important. Or
Not at
whatever.
all. Not at all.
All right, I've got some beef here.
Wait, before we get on, another hilarious joke was, like, do you see what we're seeing? And he's like, yeah, I have like 3 objects heading right from my location. It's like, should we call NASA? It's like, NASA's on the line. Hard cut to all everyone in mission control just looking into the camera. And then, okay, and then whatever. And then it's like, well, maybe we should get the Navy and the Marines. And then it's like, you know, then they cut again, and the guy's like, we should just, you brace, you know, prepare yourself for this. Those are hilarious jokes.
It has moments.
Where's the beef?
Why do the aliens only destroy things that aren't alive?
Okay, I'm glad.
The aliens' motivation just confused me for the whole
when
thing.
you first see the, can I jump in here, guys?
Mm-hmm. Go for it.
When you first see the alien ships, right? The boat ships,
Yeah.
whatever you want to call them. They look like they're alive, right? They kind of roar and they're like moving,
big whales.
big whales that but mixed with like a pond skimmer insect, because like the
Like
points.
a grasshopper.
Yeah, a watery grasshopper. And so I'm like, the first time we saw this movie, I was like, oh, they're robots, right? So it's like they have a robot mentality where it's like it's a binary thing, right? You either are a threat or you're not, and you're either a target or you're not. I'm like, okay, that makes sense. Then you find out that they're piloted by aliens and it all falls apart. But I feel like it's like they only shoot on things that are shooting on them, and that would make sense if they're just robots, right? Because it's just like, oh, threat, you know, destroy, counter destroy, and then take out the infrastructure. Also, they took out the infrastructure,
But that killed people.
and that killed people, but to no end. What was the point of that?
Yeah, Satan's bouncy balls destroying the freeway, which is how I saw the bouncy balls. Yeah, them destroying the freeway, them causing all this mainland havoc, served no purpose to them.
Only
that I could.
the only caveat to that is that destroying the military base made sense, right? They want to get rid of the threat of military things, but they won't destroy the military base, but they won't destroy the boats that are like really close to them.
Yep. And there's that.
To the listener at home, I made a shrugging motion.
Yep. A balances of sense motion.
Yeah, watching them destroy the freeway, I didn't understand, other than, I guess, you know, maybe they know somehow that's how people can get through quickly enough. And also it's like causing havoc between humanity and just having people turn against each other rather than trying to figure out and trying to save the island. It was just like odd. I didn't get it.
And the shot of the freeway collapsing is bobo as hell for a $220 million movie. That's not acceptable.
I mean, in contrasting, to put this movie over, there's a scene where their boat is going under, the modern battleship or the modern destroyer or whatever they're on, and there's this one really long shot of people jumping off the boat. You see Rihanna jump off the boat, and we go back onto the boat, and it's being destroyed by the grindery, what do you call them, Satan's bouncy balls?
Satan's bouncy balls.
And then the 2 dudes are climbing up, and they jump off, and then it's all this one big shot, and that shot is fan-fucking. It looks like they just sank a boat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You only know that it's CG because you know that
it's bold for this whole. For the way this movie is made, it's bold to be like, we're gonna do this one take.
Right.
You know, like that's kind of the money shot. So, but yeah, did they spend all their money on that and then put this freeway thing in, and they're like, some dumb house in China can do that.
I don't know. It feels very last minute, but who knows?
that was an impressive sequence.
They're
I'll
like,
give you that.
Subway will pay for this shot if we can
Yeah,
put a cup
Subway-
in that shot.
Subway will
The
do
little
it.
girl turns around, eat fresh.
Take it out of Jared's salary.
Does anyone else have any big? Oh shit.
I did like how the satellite dishes looked and they blew up at the end too.
Mm-hmm.
That was a great shot.
Yeah. Spare no expense. Does anyone have anything they want to criticize the movie for at this juncture?
Mine are all kind of nitpicks, but I have a lot of nitpicks.
I do have a lot of nitpicks.
So I might save it for nitpicks.
Jenny, you have anything?
No, I mean you gotta love it for what it is. You can't have like these really high expectations, and you got to know that the story's not going to be crazy amazing. You just kind of you love it for what it is, or you absolutely hate it and you never watch it whenever it's on TV again.
You gotta be drinking Budweiser. You gotta be wearing American flag Zubas pants, and you gotta be just rah-rahing the whole time.
Yes.
And like that's what this movie is. And Peter Berg, who friend of the military, you know, it's like I'm not shocked at all that this is the kind of movie that he made. You know.
So the biggest sequence of the movie I think that is the weakest is when right after they get attacked and stuff, and they find a alien in the water, and they put it on the boat, and it's like, what is this alien doing in the water? And then the alien comes to life. His friends rescue him. There's this bizarre explosion where everyone gets blown back, sucked back, and then blown back again. That's never explained.
Never explained. Yep.
They save their alien friend. Okay. But then there's another alien on board.
Yeah.
Not the first alien, another one. And then we're going into like close quarters combat against him. And then Rihanna shoots him in the face with a cannon. And that whole sequence I feel like is just like
definitely some shots that didn't get made in the reshoots there for that sequence.
And even
It's
after
all
he gets
very
shot in
confusing.
the face, like Taylor Kish does not need to jump over the side of the boat and hang on like the rope handle. Like he could just easily run just away.
on the other side of the gun.
Yeah. That was really unnecessary.
And then it's like total pro wrestling logic where it's like everyone's fighting, we're hitting each other, and then I'm gonna go climb the ladder to get the belt, and now it's just like, I can't climb this ladder very fast. It's like, this thing is like murdering everyone and not taking any shit from anyone, and then when they're in front of the cannon, he's like, walking real slow.
Yep.
What's this thing? Ba-boom.
Yep.
So I didn't like that sequence at all.
No.
But then quickly gets back on track, and I do want to put over the idea of how they make the battleship effect, where they use the buoys, the tsunami buoys to make a water displacement map, and they just use the technology that would naturally track a wave. Instead, they're just tracking the buoys, and then that's how they figure out where the boats are. And that whole sequence is done really well, where they keep missing, but when it gets, because the missiles have to fly the distance to get to the thing, so when the bad guys get closer, it's easier to hit.
Or you gotta anticipate where they are.
Yeah,
First,
yeah.
But yeah, I think for this movie to be called Battleship, there had to be a battleship sequence somewhere, and I was getting worried, but then they paid it off. So I thought it was just gonna be the stupid little peg bombs. We're gonna be our only battleship.
Also, I love those peg bombs, dude. I love them.
Bombs. They're stupid.
They're great. They hit the ship and then they sink deeper somehow. Who knows how?
They latch on.
Yeah, they latch on. They're like
the
little
little skinny part goes in and
and
just
just like sucks
I
it in.
know.
Like a
I
cork.
get that. But anyways, the fact that they had a battleship sequence in it where they have to be like F-24, go fish. You know, it's like it's there. So,
Yeah, no, it's great.
You know, they didn't just slap.
And
They
they
didn't
make
just slap the name Battleship on their generic military drama. You know, it's like they actually had what is Battleship and like the idea behind Battleship and what you do in Battleship.
And it was kind of cool because they were like, instead of F-23, it was like Foxtrot 23, so they made it all like Navy-like.
very.
I know someone over here like that.
I did. Well, I think they did it. I think they did it really smartly. They could have really messed that up and made it a lot worse. But I think they did it really well. And they had already previously established that their sonar, their radar detection system didn't work because in the beginning when the ships are there, they can see them to the eye, but they can't see them on their sonar.
Right.
So they've already established that our regular methods of looking for things isn't going to work. So we have to visualize it. We literally have to be able to, within like eyesight range, to be able to see it. So I think that it worked because that was set up and established. So then when Nagata brings in the tsunami buoys and that whole grid system, it had already it was already set up for them
Right,
to use it.
right. And it was kind of cool because Nagata was like, this is a trick that we use to track like U.S.
And
military.
we've been doing it for the last 20 years.
Yeah, I like that. I like that
Yeah.
reveal. There's one thing I want to bring up, and I think you touched upon it here, is that there's lots in this movie that is repeated over and over again and made very clear, like, where are these aliens from? They say, like, Planet G, like, 3 times, you know what I mean? Like, we need to get through the shield. We need to get through the shield. We need to get through the shield.
What
It's
was
like,
that? What was that?
Yeah, exactly.
What was that? What was that?
Yeah. There was that one guy on the boat who's like, who's in charge? This guy's in charge? And then he's like,
He's just like freaking out.
He-
He's
but he-
having like a mental breakdown.
Right, he's having a mental breakdown, which is very funny. But that scene is him repeating everything that we just learned in the 2 scenes before it. It's like in the scene before we learned that this guy's in charge, that this is happening over here, that this thing is a threat, and he just repeats it all.
Yep.
But then at the same time, there's other stuff in the movie that is not explained. Like, I mean, we don't need the motivation for the aliens. It's an alien invasion movie. We all kind of know, right? But it's like, why are their boats this way? How come they can't see us? Like, you know what I mean? Like they're like, you know, like they're capable of interstellar travel, but they don't make contact lenses to help them with the fucking sun
Exactly.
difference.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like there's a lot of like.
Or shades at least.
Yeah.
Like no sunglasses. They just have to
Just the
wear full
helmet, you know. It's not interesting. Like,
I would have almost preferred never seeing anything from the aliens' perspective. Like, never going in their cockpit, seeing how their technology really works, you know? Just always keeping them at a distance.
and I get
That's a
that.
good point.
That is a good point, but I do like the aliens technology. How it's like it tracks people's iris
Yeah.
movement and their heartbeat, because it's like basically telling you what their intentions are, you know,
Yeah.
and then base that off of threat and not threat.
Also-
Again, very robotic, right? Like take an
Yeah.
assessment, Terminator style, and then are you a threat or not? Not robots, aliens, and also Bobo is shit looking aliens with shitty 80s beards
Yep.
made out of like fucking
Tentacles?
tentacles.
Yep.
Ugh.
And yeah, just like when he looks at the horse and it's like horseshoe. It's like little horseshoes. Not heart, not horse shape. It's like horseshoe. It's like that means they have horseshoes on planet G, and it's
Or there's the one scene where the alien,
Or they
it's
read
like
Wikipedia.
the nerdy, I don't remember his name, but he goes back to get whatever pod that he needs to make the
Yeah.
call, and so the alien sees him and looks at him and sees that he's not a threat, but then grabs like the box like he's gonna take it and lets it go. It's like, how did they not scan to that so he could see what it was, or did he just not care?
Yeah, that was a stoner alien. It's just like, come on, bro, you're making too much noise, man.
Yeah, that's what I saw it as, is that he's shaking, so it's vibrating the case, so it's making noise, and he's just like, shh.
Again, which if he was a robot,
They're all
It-
coming after you.
yeah, if he was a robot, it would have made sense, right? It's like you're not a threat, so you're nothing, but you're like shaking or whatever, so I'll fix it. So just, you know what I mean? But as a creature of advanced intelligence, it's just like, what are you doing? You know?
Yeah.
who can be felled by steel legs.
Also, another great hilarious moment is when that same guy, the nerdy guy with the glasses and the beard, in the beginning is like, you know, you're not a boob, but that's boobish behavior. And then in the end, when he's like, I don't have a death wish, so you guys go. And he's like, wait. This is my property. And he closes it. Like, that's fucking funny. This is a comedy.
It is a comedy.
Definitely.
But is it a good adaptation of the game?
It is a completely excessive adaptation of a very simple game, I think.
I like how you said that.
I wish it was against people and not aliens. Like, I just don't. There's no alien need at all.
I liked the alien. Only because, okay, so if it was people, then you would have to either take away their radar systems and how they look for things, like, because you could have easily done that too, where it's like, oh, we're gonna go back to an antiquated way of doing things because we use the same systems. We are both militaries in the modern world. But then if you're really basing it on reality, which I know that's a stretch, but the RIMPAC, that whole games is to test your skills and like work together as like different militaries from different nations. So why I liked that there was aliens is because you take away that knowledge base. You can't use the same systems to be able to track them in the same way. So it like automatically makes it so that you have opposite sides and you kind of have to use the Battleship logic to find each other.
I get what you're saying, but I think there's an assumption that they would be so much more advanced than us that they would be able to see us though, and then when they can't, it's kind of like why not, you know?
But I mean, it's the same thing of like if we went to a different planet,
Sure.
then it's not like, oh, I totally understand this planet and I can, make my way throughout this whole world, and because I'm, a higher life force, so I completely understand your planet.
But you like the aliens, but that doesn't answer the question of is this a good adaptation of the game?
I think so.
I think it's not a good adaptation of the game, but if this movie was called like Earth Dies Screaming, I think I would have no problems with this movie at all. Like the fact that it's supposed to be something, I think that's a huge problem. Is that you're like it's supposed to be this other thing, and it's not that thing. It's this thing. And if they dropped it, they're like fuck it, don't call it Battleship, call it like anything else, right? Invaders from Planet G, like Plan 9 from Outer Space, fucking, naval warfarers with a Z. That would be its own thing. But you call it Battleship and then you tie it to something else.
Well, and I think that ultimately...
Also, Earth Dies Screaming. I'm very proud of that.
Yeah, that's good.
It's a Tom Waits song.
It's also a movie, an old movie, but still, doesn't matter.
It's a Tom Waits song.
And I think it was to the movie's detriment that it was tied to Battleship.
Oh,
because
yes,
that's
indeed.
why people didn't go see it. Mm-hmm. And if it would have been named something else, people might have been more.
Yeah.
It might have been actually more successful.
It's almost set up for failure because you're like, people are gonna go, you made a movie about a board game, and it has aliens in it. It's
and there weren't aliens in the board game.
It's like, come on.
But see,
that's what most people I think said was
right.
like, come on.
Because plot wise, is this movie any less goofy or more goofy than like Independence Day?
No.
You know what I mean? Like
it's trying to be in the Independence Day mold.
Right, and I'm saying I don't think it's dumber than Independence Day. I think it's just as dumb.
Yep. It's the same dumb level of every Roland Emmerich, disaster movie or Armageddon or anything like that. So
do you guys read anything into the idea that this movie takes place near Pearl Harbor? At one point they reference Pearl Harbor on a map and it's us in the Japanese versus another alien invasion, another foreign invasion?
Yeah.
Is there a subtext there about forgiveness?
highly undercooked subtext.
Also, the look on Jenny's face is just like, this motherfucker.
It's just like,
Welcome to the Jibber Jabber, Jenny.
give Pearl Harbor a break. Like, they've gone through so much.
Too soon.
It's
Too soon.
Like, I don't want it. Like, take another island, or I don't know.
So you would have been happier if this was
Somewhere
like off of the coast of like Cape Cod,
else. Yeah, like, or
like
off of,
Catalina
like,
or something.
Florida, or
Yeah,
some
yeah, yeah.
other like base. Like, Pearl Harbor.
But
they've had enough.
then we wouldn't be able to shoot in Hawaii.
That's very true. No tax break.
The Hawaiian Film
I'll take that
Commission.
vacation, man. Although it seems like they filmed a lot in Louisiana as well. Louisiana was all over those credits.
Yeah, it was.
Well,
And Louisiana has like a 30% film credit too.
30.
Yeah, it's up there. It's like as high as Georgia's.
I guess like the interiors and some of the exteriors too. I guess if you're on the water, it
Yeah,
doesn't really matter where you are.
Yeah. And yeah, so when you have a ton of sets, it's or blue screen stuff where it's outdoors and you need it to be sunny on a consistent basis.
Yeah.
Go to the place that has the best tax break. Why not?
And it's
Tax
humid there
breaks,
too.
folks.
Do you want to say anything about Japan, U.S. other than the fact that you loved it?
No.
Okay, I do think there's an interesting. I do think the dynamic between Japan and the U.S. is very interesting in this movie, where these two guys have a rivalry, but one of them is way more mature than the other one.
Well, again, he is the example that's not the brother. He's the example of what a captain ought to be.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I think that's, I don't know, I like their relationship and how that comes full circle. And I think that
They do stick with it in the whole movie. It's effective. Like, it's an effective arc for both of those guys.
Yeah,
where, even Taylor Kitsch's character teaches him a thing or two of like this is war, like the art of war. I interpreted it this way, and he's like, that's not even close to what it is. Like, but it worked.
Yeah.
It's like, it's the same principles, but it's like you gotta just think out of the box, kind of thing.
And that's what I think.
They both
like,
gain something from each other.
Yeah, and I think that that's what Taylor Kitsch's character is all about, is he has this other mentality that's not necessarily a military mentality, because he has been a loser and messed up so many times, that he has this out of box thinking, and it's tapping into his potential, and he just needed to know how to maneuver his potential in his own way.
And on that note about potential, right? Same thing with Mick, the guy with robot legs, where he feels like he's lost his potential, and then through being with Sam and stuff, he realizes that he still has it. Which is no better personified than the Godzilla vs. King Kong battle of him versus the alien, which is just the most, like...
Super advanced suit of armor versus metal legs and army t-shirt.
And he's throwing these Bobo punches, you're punching like a 7-year-old.
And those legs are on tight, like, not to speak bad of prosthetics, it's like he killed someone, he, like, strangled the alien with his leg.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy.
He worked
leg lock.
Yeah, he worked that leg choke from the the rear position. Also I want to just note, there is when they're playing the soccer game, there is like a running commentary, like as if like as if someone's doing color and play-by-play. This isn't being recorded for TV. Who's talking?
And
it's
this isn't on ESPN 3.
But it redeems itself because it's so brutal. It's like they're just burying Taylor Kitsch's character for being like a complete asshole.
Yeah.
It's like he clearly shouldn't have been on the field after that kick to the face, and he ruins it for all of America. It's like it's brutal.
Because we lost a friendly soccer game.
Yeah, a friendly soccer game that really. It debatable if it was even formal, but
Awful.
that's a good point. Of
We should have already
who's
just been
commentating on that?
disqualified.
Who's doing? Come on.
Mm-hmm. Would you?
So we should have been disqualified. So Rihanna wasn't wearing her uniform.
Yeah, Rihanna's not even
In uniform.
too many players on the field.
If Roger Goodell was running that rim pack league,
Here we go.
would have gotten it.
Here we go.
Old man yelling at cloud. Okay. Should we get into some nitpicks? Some cool stuff. Or you got more points?
What do you guys? What last thing is? What do you guys think about the creature design in the alien?
I think they could have absolutely been practical, and they're just garbage CGI. That's too bad. Their design is very they have like the pokey goatee, which I don't see any practical use for.
No,
like, they're not gonna stab people with their goatees.
I know. It was just like rubber.
They're kind of weird
useless.
humanoids.
I honestly think it was a fashion thing.
All right.
It's alien culture. You just gotta grow out your shitty, shaggy, from Scooby Doo goatee.
They were like porcupine quills.
It's like, but
Yeah,
I think there's a legitimate equivalence to the old men in the Navy and their bizarro mustaches. These aliens, because they're different than us. They're not growing mustaches. They're growing goatees.
Do you think, I guess if there were any women type aliens, they would have the same porcupines as like their hair?
Yeah.
Or they would all be bald?
No, I think they would have eyebrows or eyelashes that would like
Or
porcupines.
super porcupine.
But I think
Gross.
the design was kind of just like Halo meets Michael Bay. Basically.
I agree.
It's kind of just very, like you look up multi-million-dollar blockbuster alien movie design, and that's it. It's like there wasn't a lot of thought put into it, like creative thought. They just kind of went through the motions.
I did want to see their feet. Because the hands were like
Here we
the
go.
4-finger claw, but like in the shape of like a claw, like a lobster.
It's like it's not like
claw.
flat like our hand. It's like circular.
Yeah.
We're
So,
currently all making claw hands.
I was very curious to see if their toes were like that, like
And what if they were?
I don't know. I want to go with Sasha. I don't know.
We'll never know. There won't be a sequel, so we'll never know.
Battleship 2. What do their toes look like?
Do you guys have anything else we want to talk before we get into nitpicks?
Nope.
So I believe we'll start with nitpicks right now.
All right. The soundtrack sounds like every old man's workout playlist.
It's
AC/DC, ZZ Top, Creedence Clearwater Revival. It's just every 50-year-old man who owns a
Yes.
gun's workout playlist.
It's the same songs that are in like every Navy, Army movie that comes out.
Way too much news footage. There's like there's like 20 minutes of news footage in this movie. It is a crutch.
I had at the beginning when Brooklyn Decker goes to the bar. I hate in every movie scene where they're like, "I'm just gonna have a beer." It's like there's 100 million beers. What do you want? Like I know
No bar has a house beer. If
Yeah,
you say
like,
that to any
it's
real
just
bartender,
like, oh, I'll just have a half or something. Like just. I know it's like product placement. You can't say the exact name, but just make one up. But to say like, I just want a beer. It's like, lady, look at my bar. There's 100 beers here. What do you want? I hate that.
I want beer brand beer.
yep, beer.
Rihanna, we covered it, but Rihanna in the Hoods shirt. What are you even doing here?
I could say that for the entire movie. Rihanna, what are you doing here? Why? I said when the old dude brigade kind of comes out and it's all this slow-mo shot, it just looks like the crowd at a Toto concert. It's just, they're not intimidating, they're not threatening, they're not scary. They're just old
They're
dudes.
just
So.
creeping out.
And then AC/DC comes roaring in the speakers. Peter Berg's playlist.
No submarines in a Battleship movie? What are we doing here?
Come on. Gotta work together.
All of them.
In the first battle, they fire a warning shot, and I get why it missed, but then they miss a lot. It's like, you guys are in the Navy. Shouldn't be missing that huge alien freighter like a million times.
See, the kids these days, they can't do it without their computers. Old man yells at cloud.
Yep. Yes, indeed. When the aliens come through the atmosphere, it only took one little satellite to destroy one of their ships.
Oh, that's
Oh yeah, they bump into a satellite and it totally destroys
It just
the
like
interstellar.
ruins one ship completely, and they're down a ship. And
Yeah.
It's like, come on.
Also, 25,000 people die in Hong Kong and we don't give a fuck. We're like, dude, this guy misses his girlfriend.
And everybody in Hawaii is okay.
Yeah, it's like no one in Hawaii died, but like 25,000. Also,
Nobody in that Little League game ate
coming to like where the satellite breaks down one of their little ships. When the ships are actually plunging into the ocean, why are there no tsunamis? Like,
yes,
these things
they
are
real slow down
tons
and
and
fast.
tons,
Hit the
like-
brakes. And when you see them, when they're tracking them, they blow by Jupiter and by Mars in like seconds.
Yeah.
So it's like yeah, the thing's moving at like it would be an extinction level event even if they just landed.
Yeah,
You
they
know?
should like blast through the Earth with how fast they're going.
Right.
So. But again, that little satellite took them out.
Some stuff gets really rushed in this movie. So like the thing hits Hong Kong, and then 5 minutes later, the Chinese confirm that it's like a communication ship, and that the materials in it are not of this Earth. So like it crashes right away. Instead of helping anyone, they just start running tests.
Yep.
And those are already like 5 minutes later. Later, we have 4 hours until sunrise. We find a ship, and then we have to like get it up to working. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then it's like that's done in like 15 minutes apparently. As long as that montage is, that's how long as it takes to fix it up. It's like we didn't have a lot of time to do this. Like they're like cutting through chains and stuff, and like taking out like they take out like and it's a funny scene. Like they're like throwing out all the tchotchkes, all the toys and things.
Yeah.
It's a fun scene, but it's like in the reality of the movie, it's like we don't have enough time for this shit.
Yeah.
Leave that in here.
So.
And why are you breaking it now? There's glass all over the
Yeah.
place. I have to walk through here.
Yeah, you're gonna regret that when you have to carry that fucking bomb all the way across the ship.
That's funny.
Anything else? Anyone? Anything else?
I have no more nitpicks.
I had the one main communications guy that was sending the signals with the curly hair and the big ears. He was way too calm delivering his bad news, like to every other.
Oh yeah,
communications
we're looking at an extinction level event. Ooh, my burrito's done. Yeah, he doesn't give a shit. You know, he's just reading. He's just reading it off the prompter,
Yeah.
like Mahalo, motherfucker, Rihanna. Ugh, Jesus Christ, terrible.
Again, Rihanna, what are you doing here? Please leave.
She's playing the tough girl part.
And then there's a scene when the cops confront the Sam and Mick, and then they leave a Jeep there for them to conveniently get on the way to it's like. You guys rolled up in 3 Jeeps and you tried to consolidate into 2 Jeeps? Like,
Yeah.
what's the point?
Exactly. Yeah, there's a perfectly good Jeep just sitting there, and the guy with no legs is like, let's walk.
Yeah.
It should have been their Jeep.
Yeah, it should have been their Jeep. They just should have been like, this is where we're going to park. We'll head out from here.
Yeah, I mean, they angled it in a way where it was, I think, supposed to be a roadblock, but it's like, why not just cone it off and then take your Jeep? Like, why are you going to leave a $40,000 Jeep down in the middle of the road when there's aliens.
These aliens from space, block them with this here Jeep. They're not getting through this road.
I mean, can we go around this thing? Like, we're done. Let's just pack it up and go home. All right, so that's nitpicks. Cool stuff. Em, you gonna participate in this or what?
This is gonna be
Yep.
Emily's bread and butter right here.
All
This is
right.
the cool stuff.
I will kick off the cool stuff by saying Taylor Kitsch is funny throughout this whole movie, and especially before he joins the Navy, very funny.
For the record, I disagree. So, let me think. Go pass.
What's your name? Hungry.
I love the
No,
burrito
why?
scene. The whole.
No,
I love.
Oh, in the
I love
liquor
the
store?
Pink Panther music that accompanies the burrito
And he falls
scene.
when he falls in the store.
Yeah.
That shit is funny. Kev?
I like the second fall.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
like
he's
he
trying to
falls
say-
in, does his thing, climbs out, and then it's like the weight, and then slam, falls into the mustard and the ketchup. That's
Yeah.
pretty funny.
Oh, is that what that was? I thought it
I'm
was, like,
pretty sure it's
salsa
mustard.
or something.
It could be salsa.
I think it was. I think we could
ketchup.
all agree it was the
It
condiment
was the
aisle.
condiment aisle.
There might have been a pickle on the floor. I don't know.
I love the music, not the score. I like the score.
Yeah.
Throughout the whole movie.
I love the music. I'll go ahead and say it.
I thought it worked really well. Like it kept the pace going. I liked the old men at the end. I thought they were adorable.
Oh, yes, Jesus.
There's nothing more that I like in the world than old men.
Old veteran man.
Old veteran men. That's great.
There might. I don't want to embarrass you, but there might have been tears the first time he says. I wrote this down. He says, "You've served your country, and no one has the right to ask you for anything, ask for any more. But I'm asking." And he says, "What do you need?" And he's like, "I need your boat."
There were tears. Yes, I did cry.
Like the one dude's scruffy mustache. That's a fine mustache. That guy has. That's a cool thing.
Yeah.
I
All of their-
liked the silhouettes of the ships on the horizon with the water.
yeah.
Like it was. I thought it was really well shot.
There's some really good photography.
There's
in this
some really
movie.
good like aerial shots of it. I
I mean,
thought that was
Hawaii always photographs well, no matter what you do. But yeah, when you got movie quality HD cameras, it always looks good.
How do I look? Slap. Awesome.
And everyone's so tan. I do like at the end where they give Hopper his brother's award. I did get teary-eyed on that. Oh,
All right, gets the silver
that was
star.
a really, really good scene. I did like that little. He's just like not expecting himself to get an award, which was crazy to me. Like, but you know,
But I thought it fit well with his character because he's always screwed up that he doesn't expect any recognition. So then he's like, oh, me too?
me too.
Okay.
Finally, me too.
They probably told him about it, but he forgot.
It wasn't in his calendar.
You look like Colonel Sanders. He's a handsome man.
I like Liam Neeson with the home when Taylor Kitsch finishes the Homer quote, and Liam Neeson says
The fact that you know that infuriates me beyond words.
he just delivers it so well. I just love it.
I'm sensing your anger. Very perceptive.
You just have nothing but the
I'm not
one-liners
saying
from this movie.
you're a boob. I'm saying that's boobish behavior.
It's one-liners.
Oh, I really liked Todd from Breaking Bad. His character the whole
Orty?
time.
Orty.
Yes.
Yeah.
Who's Rorty?
Orty
Orty. Who's Orty?
Landry?
Landry. Yes, he's great. He's great.
He's so great.
He
so
hears them
great.
fighting and he just turns around and like walks the other way.
And he's the one who figures out that the aliens can't see the sun. So
The
that was
alien gets
awesome.
up and he just goes, "Not dead, not dead."
And then when they come into the room,
Stupid.
when they come into the room and they're all these guys are just around the alien's quote unquote corpse, and he just turns and looks and he points like, "This is what we're looking at. This right here, boss." Like,
He's the goofy comic relief.
yeah, he's
Jesse
good.
Plemons.
He's good, and I feel like he carries Rihanna through some scenes. She wasn't terrible. She just doesn't belong in this movie.
No.
No.
I feel like she put on a Navy uniform 5 minutes ago. She doesn't feel like tough Navy chick.
But I feel like the scenes
Like
where
Tina Carano, that would have been great.
Yeah.
Or Ronda Rousey.
the scenes where like in the end when they're all taking photos and she's just being herself, like those scenes come across really well because she's outgoing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, some of the other scenes is just the Mahalo motherfucker is just like that's just a terrible line. Also, I know it's a PG-13 movie, but like every time they say fuck, they cut it off.
Yeah.
That annoys me. I know we're talking about cool things, but that annoys me.
You get one fuck in a PG-13 movie.
Take it.
I think you might even get 2 these days.
The other thing I really liked is in the end when the force field goes down, and you know that there are going to be airplanes in the air because Liam Neeson says, get the airplanes in the air. But you forget.
Yes, you do forget.
And then when they shoot off the last rocket onto Oahu, and then the 3 little hell roly-poly balls come down. And you're
Satan's bouncy balls.
Yes, those. And I was like, oh my god, it's gonna like massive destruction, and the F-16s come and shoot them out of the air. I gave a little cheer in my interior.
Little inside Emily, wait.
Yeah, exactly, because I forgot that they were gonna come. And I was like, yes, they're here.
And that reminds me of another favorite scene of mine is when the force field goes down, Liam Neeson's on the deck of the aircraft carrier, and he just turns around to the camera and is like, I need scramble all available things. We're going head forward. And he's like barking all these orders. Who's he talking to?
Yeah, so I was gonna
he's
say.
alone on the thing.
He's talking
You
to
gotta
the
get on the radio.
other side of the camera.
Yeah,
He's just out there on his own.
Yeah.
He's going, planes.
I feel like there's a scene that got cut where he's just like walking around and someone's not doing what he asked him to do, and he's like, "Why aren't you doing what I asked you to do?" Ah! He's like, "I wasn't there, sir. You were alone." Last one when he misses the kick. That scene is done very well. Love that soccer
Okay.
when he misses the goal kick
Oh, okay.
and it goes way high and way wide. Love that. Anyone else got anything cool? Anything else?
No.
Alright.
Oh, one more. When Liam Neeson's on the phone with, I guess, our U.S. military, and he's like, I'm not sending another plane in.
Uh-huh.
Like, you do it. That's your call. That was good. He just hangs up super angry.
I'll do it as soon as you get in the co-pilot seat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. I love that.
Yeah,
That's
Liam,
great.
Liam Neeson and phones, man.
Don't fuck around.
Don't fuck around with him.
Don't
He's
fuck
on the
around with
phone.
him. That's not your place to fuck around with him.
He's got good phone skills. Terrifying.
I want to see his letter writing skills.
I bet they punch through the paper.
Yeah, right neck. Is this movie a mess?
Yes.
Yes.
No.
You can say yes, but that doesn't necessarily mean a bad thing.
I think that it's a mess, but in a really good way. I still think it was smartly plotted. I think they telegraphed a lot of things. They circled back to a lot of things. I think the character arcs for me were done really well.
Well, and that's the thing is, I think we can. Do we all agree that like there is a thing of that Mick and Taylor Kitsch's character go through, where it's about finding your potential and serving others? I mean, that is there.
And it goes through the whole movie.
And it goes through the whole movie.
Through line that is realized ultimately some way,
Right.
which a lot of movies can't say that much. Transformers.
Yeah. It's a hot mess. But I love it. I love it. I do like. I mean, it's just I like the overall storyline, even though it's got the aliens that I don't like. But I mean, it worked well for what it was. It was okay.
Yeah. I think it is also a mess, but I think if you take out the scene where the alien is on the ship, I think the movie works a lot better. You know what I mean?
That whole sequence.
That whole sequence. I don't think you need any of that.
It doesn't really add anything.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, what it adds is that they know that the
all they do is get the helmet,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah, but
But you
it
can
could've-
get that off of any dead alien that they find in the water, and
Yeah.
like, oh, look at its helmet. Let's put it here. Jesse Plemons grabs it, puts it on.
Yeah.
Sunglasses. My lizard.
Or, if they came back for the non-corpse alien, then just leave it like that. Like, don't have the extra alien on the ship. It served no purpose.
right. What's your guys' sequel pitch for this movie, if any?
I like the idea of a Northern European alien invasion. You get to explore all different territory.
I like that too, and that sequel could be not Battleship. It would be Risk.
Oh, Battleship 2 Risk.
You know how Risk is like a game about how aliens invade, then you got to take over Europe or something, right? That's Risk.
Risk is in Europe, right? Oh yeah, it's my movie
You
executive.
just got that executive just had the flu, just sick as a dog. Anyway, girls. What do you girls want to see?
I don't know if I know what I want to see, but I have a question of whether or not the sequel would include Hopper in it, or would you want to see a completely different person?
Got it.
I would want Hopper,
Yeah.
but Hopper in this one plays like he's part of like the alien defensive strategy people, like an international group, and he's like the leader.
Not actually on the ship.
Yeah, and so it's someone else's story about, let's just say they're going to repeat the same thing. It's just someone else's story about growing up and being a man. So here's my pitch. So the movie is about maybe even one of these shitty kids from the end of the first one. So now it's like 10 years later, and we've been dealing with an alien invasion in Europe, so Europe is all fucked up. So someone was growing up as a kid and had to grow up really fast after the aliens invaded. Now they're in the military, in this new military. And Hopper is like his commander. And he's like the Liam Neeson character. Right? Where he's like, I used to be you. You don't get it.
He's the mentor?
Yes, he's the mentor.
Okay. I can see it.
So in 10 years, we'll make this Battleship sequel. We gotta age
People
up
are
the
nostalgic for Battleship.
Yeah. And
Do you bring Rihanna back?
Yes. But she plays a completely different character we don't acknowledge the other one. No, yeah, you bring her back. Everyone who's in this one is
She plays the mom of one of the kids.
Yeah.
Military.
Or alternatively, she could just be, everyone in this movie could be part of the other group, and they're just in the headquarters, doing stuff, figuring shit out. I would also like the bad guys to be gigantic worms, but we'll workshop that later. Anyway, Jenny, are you on board for this, or?
No, not really. No, leave it at 1.
Yeah, it's fine the way it was, right?
Yeah, don't mess
It's
it
a
up.
perfect movie. It doesn't need a sequel. It's like It Follows. It doesn't need a sequel. You know what I mean? It's just that's it.
It's just there.
It's one story, one and done.
Will you ever top it? You never will.
I never will.
So to end this, is anyone else got anything to say before we wrap this up? Because we're kind of heading to. I'm getting kind of sad because now we're not going to talk about Battleship anymore. But in the end, do you like this movie and does it work?
Come me first.
We'll go with you last.
All right.
Yes and yes.
You liked it. You like this movie.
I liked this movie.
and you think it works.
And I think it works. It works for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I do end up, and I love it. I love this movie. It doesn't work for me, but I still love it.
Mm-hmm. I think I like this movie. It doesn't fully work. It is goofy. It is all over the place. But if you come in with the attitude, if you can't come. There's a film culture, right, where it's like, oh, did you see the trailer for this just came out? We go look at the trailer and you look at the ad campaign. And we're very influenced by that, right? That's our perception of the movie. That cannot be part of your equation. If you just know that this is a movie that came out and some people liked it, some people hated it, and you go in knowing that it's a goofy, fun movie, I think it pays off. And there's enough meat in there with there's a steak in the sizzle, and I think there is more steak than people give it credit for. Mm-hmm. It's not like a T-bone steak. It might be like, some like thin strips of steak.
50% off at Ralph's.
Yeah,
Manager special.
Yeah. You know what I mean? It might be. It's a stir fry. It's not like a steak. It's a stir fry with steak in it.
Beef chunks for stew.
We can go down that route. Why not? So I'd say it's worth your time. If you're interested in this movie, it's fun.
I would say ultimately, I do not like this movie. Ultimately. But I think it does work in its own weird little way.
Interesting.
I'll say this much. Netflix thinks I'm going to give it 1 star. I'm going to give it 2.
Very nice. Generous on this one.
I didn't hate it. But I didn't like it either.
I don't subscribe to that level of Netflix. If I like it, it gets 5. If I didn't like it, it gets 1. There's no in between.
Well, you don't. Yeah,
I'm binary.
Wow.
Thumbs up or thumbs down.
You probably have like some classics on there with 1s, huh? Because you're like, that wasn't up to the hype.
Most things. Yeah. Pretty much. I'm the reason why, like some movies are they have like 4.5.
Yeah.
I'm killing that curve.
Were you guys okay with it being 2 hours?
Yeah, I think it could have been.
No. I think that whole scene in the middle should have gotten cut out and bring it back down to an hour and a half.
There's
been a
plenty
lot
that
shorter.
could have been cut. If this was a solid hour 45-minute movie, it could have been something. I probably would have been a little more on board with it.
Yeah.
So,
And there's
just get rid of all the flab and just make it this lean. Focus on Taylor Kitsch and his story, and just really streamline it to that. Then you could have done something really that could have been. They could have had the big hit that they were looking for and expected.
There's a lot of little things you could try. I mean, there's a funny line where the Japanese guy's like, I learned how to shoot in summer camp. that's a cute line, but cut that scene out and cut them shooting out the window of the aliens. Like, just when they come around the corner, just fucking light them up with all their guns. Fuck it. You know what I mean? Like,
nobody was looking for a payoff to him realizing they have a windshield.
Yes.
You know? It's like, that's what that scene was.
Right.
And it's kind of whatever.
So yeah, there's an hour and a half of steel in this movie. The unfortunate part is it's like 2 hours and 10 minutes. You know,
Yeah.
it has a little chunk on top. You know what I mean? That you can just shave that off.
Yeah, definitely.
Trim the fat on that steak.
Yep.
Another analogy, etc.
There you go.
All right, guys. Thank you for coming on our show. Any plugs? Anything you want to plug?
Nothing.
No fun.
Kev, you have any
We
plugs?
appreciate having you guys on.
Yeah.
And
I know.
Lady energy.
Bringing a new perspective to our
podcast,
little jibber jabbering.
of the criticism that I listen to of this podcast, there is a criticism that I think the only legitimate one that I've ever heard is that we do a lot of male movies, and you know it's only dudes on this show. So I would say this is a male movie, but you know we got some ladies on the show. Maybe we'll do some more lady-centric movies in the
We've got some
future.
lady-centric movies coming up.
Name
Like
one.
what?
We got Eyes Wide Shut coming up.
That
That is not lady centric. There's a lot of ladies in it.
Yeah. There's a lot of penises in it, too.
I don't know what I'm signing up for.
So, yeah.
Thank
Thank you guys for
Yeah,
coming
thanks for coming
Thank
on.
you.
This is Speaking Cinema, Serious Movie Jibber Jabber. Follow us on Twitter. Subscribe. Blah 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 blah. You know where to get it. See you later.
Keep battling those aliens.
Woo! Keep on shipping.
Sunscreen on your peppers.
Exactly. Uh-huh.
Pepper my sunscreen.
I'm actually shocked that it's still alive in this heat.
Can we water it? Okay.
Yeah.
And soft about it.
But especially now that we have now that we're carrying a podcast, it's like you have to that's a choice, right? It's like, hello, welcome to Speaking Cinema. Serious Jibber. It's just like fucking just talk like a person. You know what I mean?
Not a robot.
Alright.
Okay.
Ready?
Yes.
Ready.
Alright. Watch me fuck this up now.
Ha.
Ready.
You good? Are you
I'm
good?
cleared out.
Okay. You guys good?
Yep.
All right.
Ow.
Let's do it.
So.
Ahem.
So. Hold on.
Train of thought.
This is
lost.
where we edit.
So I'm just gonna go. Now we're gonna edit point. Click. All right. So time out real quick. You should talk a little bit louder.
Fine.
You're good though. You're good.
A little bit loud.
Oh, you sound good in my good ear.